Okay, and I hope everybody's well. Okay, well, we're going to get right at it. I'm going to share screen, and I think I believe I have, let's see, we ended with you, Pache, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Let's see, we did the first one and the second one. That was the squirrel thing. And we did, we didn't do that one.
Yeah. So that was kind of, I wanted to kind of capture the slow motion of just like how fast those actions were, and how hard it is to interrupt.
Okay. So
when he's got that much slack.
Okay. So I'm going to give you some advice from the old Siberian Husky groups.
Yeah.
The badge of honor was, it was always, I didn't let go, even though they were dragged down the street by all the Huskies. They didn't let go of the leash.
The challenge for me is when he has that much slack of line, he is just able to pull it out with just brute force. And so it's like, even if I've tried, they're just sometimes. And so that's kind of where I struggle. That was kind of where I've been struggling. It's just giving him a loose line heel, because when he has that much space, like I do it, but I'm very conscientious when I am doing. I'm very aware I can't go for a long period giving him 6 feet of leash.
Right. Okay. So like I said, one word of advice: fingertip push-ups. Helps that hand strength, that arm strength.
I also have a dislocated finger in one of my fingers that's still healing.
Yeah, so me too. See how that's off? It's actually not dislocated, it's broken, it's shattered. So it took me 8 years to get back there. That was from playing football. That was on a helmet. So that was many years ago. Gosh, 51 years ago, 52 years ago. So okay, well, we don't have to look at this one. That's pretty obvious. Now that you're, but I'm glad you posted that. So how is the squirrel thing going now? Just for you guys' edification, Pache and I had about an hour-long conversation, private conversation, a few days back now. So
I'm actually still in the process of choosing the right word. I think I have it chosen. I was trying to find a word that was meaningful and not probably in a different language, so it wouldn't be confused with anything else. But I have been really working with just the loose leash and working with both of my dogs at time and really capturing all the moments that they're healing. And I've been pretty psyched on their responses and getting the same level of excitement as like with treats that I have just with praise. And I guess I didn't really think I would be able to get that. And it was very interesting, because in the beginning, Rowan kind of like rolled, the first few times I did it, Rowan kind of rolled his eyes, not my eyes, rolled his eyes, and it's kind of like, yeah, whatever, like, and then it was kind of like, as he realized I was more serious, he started to get more excited, and he was like, oh, you are actually praising me. And like, he's been really trying hard, so that's been going really well.
So a synopsis of our discussion was, instead of using food or toy or whatever else as a reward to the dog, the reward is you. You become the base for the dog of what is acceptable or not acceptable behavior. And so the celebration of the dog for doing something even as menial as just staying by my side is going to be, good boy, pat, pat, pat. Good girl, pat, pat, pat. And mean it. And capture those moments. So Pache was initially very resistant in our discussion, saying, but shouldn't I use treats? Shouldn't I do this? And no, because you are replacing the most important element, which is the relationship, you and the dog, with something else. So it's a displaced reward that you don't matter, just like with a leash. Dog doesn't have to pay attention to you, it only pays attention to the leash. So this is about relationship, literally and figuratively, and it's not about human concept of love relationship or anything else. It is the survival instinct of pro-social aspects of being together, and the enjoyment of that, the enjoyment of surviving, just the sheer purity of surviving better together. That's the whole aspect of pro-social behavior. So you become the base, you become the reward for the dog, not anything else, not toys, not play, that's all other things. But it should never be substituted for you being the base for the dog, the learning part of the dog. Okay. I don't let anything come between me and a dog, period. That's the whole point. Okay. So that's the synopsis.
Can I ask a quick question? Because I'm still having a lot of trouble with leash reactivity to dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I just need a tip or something to work with so that he doesn't react. Because I take him away and I still need something, and that works sometimes.
Yeah, but that's avoidance. It's never it's never a permanent thing. It's simply an avoidance, and it doesn't resolve the issue.
Right.
So have somebody take videos and post them on here. Okay.
It's a little difficult for me, but I'll try.
Oh no, I understand. But at least we'll be able to look, see, advise. Okay.
Okay.
It's without specifics, I can only talk in generalities.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So let's get started here with this last one. Hello, Callie.
Can you enlarge it a little bit?
I think that's fully enlarged. Oh, no, it's not. I'm sorry. There we go. Okay. So what's going on in the dog's mind here?
I feel like he's still kind of looking out for squirrels, because
absolutely, yeah,
associating that space.
Yeah,
that just happened. So
predatory stimulation, that's what he is looking for.
Like, he's following my movement, but he's mentally not with me.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so for this exercise, that is fine. For when you're working with a dog like that and they do notice you for that, and you notice there's a response, okay, you're going that way, and it's a quarter second, an eighth of a second where the brain goes, okay, and then it's basically on automatic to follow you, but the brain is elsewhere. So during that quarter second, that's when you capture, yes.
Yep.
That's the reward time. It's not afterwards when the brain has already left you, because then then you are rewarding where the brain is, not the physical action of the dog, because the dog is just on automatic of following you. And that's what people make huge mistakes about. When you say yes and no, you're really saying yes or no to what's in the mind of the dog in that moment. So if you don't capture that moment when it is in agreement with you, in other words, when it does follow you or it does behave in a certain way, if you don't capture it literally in that split second, you're agreeing with another state of mind that you don't know.
Mhm.
Okay. So timing is everything. That's what all these videos are about. And I'm talking to everybody here. Okay. Good. Well, that was good. That was good, Pache. Thank you. Those were good videos, regardless of how you
So,
felt about
so
it.
I guess I want to just clarify. So doing this kind of exercise because I felt like in our instructions to give that praise wasn't necessarily clear feedback, but to me, doing this exercise without doing that and being very clear about those moments without doing that is dangerous because it's still in separation.
Yes, but well, let me put it this way. It is a much longer process if you don't add the praise and these other things in, that the dog does realize, oh, we're not doing that, we're not going that way unless I join the human. And so it takes a lot longer for that. But this, again, these are breakdowns of specific ways to communicate to a dog and to become relevant to the dog in that moment. So I want you guys to understand that these exercises that we're doing are one little tiny element of the whole thing that you put together. You have to practice these and see the relevance of each aspect of that and the additive process when you put them all together of how clear it becomes to the dog. If you didn't practice each aspect, if I just told you to do all this stuff together, you wouldn't practice it well. You would not learn the details that are necessary for each aspect of it. The turn and face, the shoulders, all of that, the hand motion, the step, the movements, all of those things. You have to break that down into each segment and first of all, outweight the dog. Secondly, communicate to it that we're not moving until you join my direction. That's huge right there. And so the dog begins to notice you and pay attention to you, not the leash. And you're starting to communicate in all these different ways. Now, when you put them all together, it becomes a very clear message to the dog, let's go this way, without tugging on the leash or anything else. The dog is connected with you brain to brain. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the dog to have its brain with us, not just you physically controlling the dog. Okay, does that help in the explanation? So
yeah,
the exercises themselves are, I could break them down even more in micro steps and micro aspects just to have the dog learn to pay attention to you and focus in meaning. We are teaching a dog that we know their language. And here's a piece of it that we're trying to communicate to you, which is body position, movement, posture, intent, distance, speed. Remember those 6 elements. That is the major part of their language. There's much more to it, obviously, but you can categorize a lot of that stuff. Body position, posture, that includes tails, ears, all of those things in dogs. So body position, posture, movement, in other words, direction, even just movement itself, how you move, all of those things. Okay, intent, distance, the closer to, the more powerful the message, and speed. How fast do you go? How slow do you go? What is the meaning of speed? Because it has massive intent and communication. Moving fast versus moving slow versus moving cautiously. All of those things, how you move at what speed makes a difference. And so we could do exercises for each one of those categories and break it down to 20, 40, 60, 80 different exercises. But this gives you a start to start understanding how to communicate to your dog and how to get their brain with your brain with intent. As I said at the beginning of this class, if you take nothing from this except your intent makes a difference. What is in your mind is everything. That's what communicates to the dog, because if it's in your mind, it's affecting you. Your signal, your body and everything else, your signal goes out to the dog because what's in your brain is showing in your body. Okay. It is what I find people extremely resistant to and not getting this by this whole system. Frankly, they don't. There's people that just say, I just don't get it. I know Nelson can do it, but that's him. I hate that because they can do it too if they try to understand that this isn't some magic. This is their language, not ours. And yet we communicate in many ways the same way. We have slightly different signals to each other as humans that mean things, body position, movement, posture, distance, speed. But the majority of it is very similar. And so studying that, that's their way of communicating. Remember that those illustrations of actual, EKGs and everything else on the brain studies of humans and dogs, where a dog brain, the mass of a dog brain, and there's a tiny little point for human sound. That's all human sound. Tiny little dot. Doesn't mean anything to them other than it's an alert. That's all it is. So sound is just an alert to them. They when we ask them to focus on our language, we're asking that tiny little dot to give it meaning instead of all this other movement, motion, predatory action part of the brain that they just automatically go to. Okay. Yes,
So
Karen.
when you're talking about sound, also what comes out in sound is our tone of voice, any anxiety going on, our assurance. So they're not just getting the words, it's everything behind that.
Yes. Even a foot scuff in gravel is just part of that sound, that background sound. So it has the equivalent meaning of you saying, a diatribe of words to a dog. It's just noise. So
I have a quick question. So when you're out in the world walking your dog, and if your dog is just, but everything you're teaching us, Nelson, because I'm trying to understand it before I lose the lifeline to you. If my dog is distracted by something else, if I do a turn to get his distraction, you said, don't ever do that. Like I have to have intention to want to turn, like don't ever do it unless, because that'll just seem crazy to the dog. So I'm trying to understand, like using this principle, if I'm walking and the dog is not paying attention to me, can I do this where I turn direction and walk another way just to get his attention? Can I turn?
yes, of course.
Okay.
Of course. Yes.
Okay.
So in this, you're trying to communicate constantly with the dog. Now, the thing that we add in is the sound, and that's and you have about a 1/8 of a second, 1/4 second, 1/2 second, depending on the brain of the dog and what else is going on around. Hey, let's go this way. So you got the click brain on you, and then your motion and movement that way. So the warning order, what I call a warning order, is the sound a human makes. It's a human generated sound. It can be hey, cluck, a snap of a finger. It can be anything. I never, ever, ever clap my hands, and I never slap my leg, because that is associated with hitting. And with a fearful dog or a dog with a different type of mind, you're going to scare the crap out of the dog, and you're going to break trust. And I never want to break trust with a dog, because it takes 10 times as long to get it back. So whatever you've built up, don't break trust. That's the whole key to it. Okay. Don't get frustrated. Don't get angry. Don't get fearful. Don't get any of those things that humans do. I know it's tough, but that's what you're working toward, is to be that neutral, confident, composed leader for the dog. They have to have that, or they can't trust you. They simply go, I got to take over for myself and for you because you are indiscernible to me. Okay. Okay. Well, let's get Pache off of here. I mean, we like looking at her, but oh well. Okay. What's this? Rachel, looks like you're getting pawed.
Yeah,
What was that?
that was several years back. My landlord's Newfoundland dogs. And he was just, I was kneeling down and he was pawing me on the shoulder. Back then I found it nice. I didn't have any clue about whatever it could mean otherwise.
Excuse me. Well, Newfies are pretty good generally. They're pretty nice dogs.
Oh yeah, they were. I'm not even sure if he is still alive, but I hope he isn't, because he was in a really bad shape when I saw him last.
Oh,
But the owners cannot let go, so that's the bad thing.
yeah, I understand. Okay, well, I think, let's see. Okay, so Kelsey, what are you doing here? Let's see. Huh, interesting. Okay, talk to us. What were you doing? What was this exercise about?
This was trying to use the hand movements to get him to basically work with me.
Okay. Okay. So let me stop that right there. That was really a good, if you watch how you're giving in there, look, automatically, the dog doesn't even have to think to do this. Watch the instant turn as you back up, the hand goes away. Look at that. That's beautiful. That's exactly what you want.
Okay, good.
Well, that's good communication. And then you're reinforcing it by going ahead and starting to turn your body. By backing up, what does that do? So just like the exercise of you putting your hand in front of your head and doing this, going away, increasing speed, and it makes you want to go into that void that's left from that hand to fill that space. You feel it, the dog feels it about double, because we're a half predator, they're full predator. So just that space, giving up that space and knowing this connection. So there's numbers of layers of factors here. Brains are complicated, and dog brains are extremely complicated, just like ours. So there's layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of meaning of movement to that particular dog, just like it is with every dog. Okay, moving away. So if I stop, I'm still facing that direction like you are, this way, and I start moving away, what does that dog automatically do? It turns to fill that void. Your hand is reinforcing it. That's the 7% of communication, or that's the detail. Let's go this way. And now you're starting to turn. So this is a great sequence to watch over and over again, right there. So you stop, dog knows it. Look at the pause right there. So it's moving with you. You stop, notice it starts to slow down now. See it?
Yeah.
And now you're giving it direction by moving away from that direction. The hand is going, the dog goes with that, very certain. And then as you rotate your body, it's obvious to the dog what your intent is and where you're going. Okay. So that's for everybody. That's a great little sequence. Okay. You gave the time to the dog to communicate instead of just turning, walking, and jerking the leash like most of the other people do. Okay.
Honestly, he loves this. I cannot I look forward to doing this. I look forward to going out and practicing this because it has truly become just, it's fun for both of us. It's not work, it's fun.
Yeah. Well, it's a connection. That's the whole point of this. It's connecting. You're communicating to another species. Isn't that amazing?
And I
It
also
is.
realized what I used to do. So I have a word, like I use, it's a Swahili word for kamboa, which is like my, like, you know, you're free, break, go, whatever. But I would
Right.
also kind of say kamboa, and I would go like this with my hands, like you're free. And so I realized that sometimes when I would finish this exercise and go, you know, that's when he would start to jump on me because he's expecting my hands to go up. I haven't had an issue though, in retrospect, about me sweeping the hand, which I was pleased about, but I do slap my leg. So now I know not to slap my leg. So thank you.
It's an exciter, and it may be an exciter of the, by exciter, I don't mean pleasure party or anything like that. An exciter is something that does this to the brain. And it could be a shock, a terrifying thing versus an exciter of, oh boy, we're going to play, or there's prey or something else. So you don't know the meaning of that slap on your leg or your clap of your hands to that dog. The dog is going to respond to it. And usually as an exciter, you get a behavior you really don't want.
Okay, no, that's, you just offer so many little tidbits when you're just talking that, you know, sometimes you're just like, so, thank you.
Yeah, don't hit yourself too hard. Okay. So again, think about how the brain of that canine works, how it sees the universe. That's all I look at, is how this dog looks at the universe and how can I communicate to it. That's why I don't want anything between me or the dog. I don't want distractions between me and the dog. I don't want a toy. I don't want anything when I'm communicating with the dog that way and working with it initially to gain its trust, to say, hey, I know your language. We can communicate well, because usually I'm the first and only human that dog has ever encountered that I can actually communicate to the dog. And people wonder why I can just walk with a dog that, you know, is terrified of humans and it's never been around humans, and that, you know, responds terrified, and all of a sudden it's my buddy in 15 minutes. That's how. And that's frankly, this Fearful Feral Dog workshop coming up in a couple of months is exactly that. These dogs that are literally feral dogs or extremely fearful dogs out in the rural New Mexico, and one of the worst low income places, that the only time they've ever encountered humans is in a very bad situation for them. And within 15 minutes, you know, I'm sitting down with the dog, scritching its back, and it's trusting me. We've got 2 years of video on that. Matter of fact, that's coming out soon. I don't control those videos or that course, so otherwise we would have already put it out. But the person doing this is doing a fantastic job, and as soon as that's out, that will be an online course that people can take on their own. It's a self-guided, basically, going through. So a lot of video, a lot of explanation, a lot of discussion on fearful feral dogs and how to reach them. So, and that includes, it's not just about those dogs, it's about dogs that even momentarily, it may be a super confident dog you have, but it's never encountered a situation, and in that moment it becomes extremely fearful. And then learning how to get that dog back with you and what it means to them in that state of mind. That's what's important about that course. So
that would be good. He came into my life when my marriage was falling apart. It was very volatile. There was a lot of like crying, yelling, screaming. I don't know. It was just a really volatile place. And he would literally run out of the house every time I cried. So at least I can cry now without him running out of the room, but they're not wailing cries like they were. So, but I think that might be good for him because I do need to work on his self-confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, remember, you are the base for the dog.
Mm-hmm. I'm much more at peace than I used to be. So, and I feel it in them. And this, I can't tell you, it is not just once, it is numerous times now that my dogs won't come in the house without me waving them in and me going out with them. I was one of those people that put them out in the backyard. So I'm not 100% there, but I'm like 80%, and that feels good.
Well, just to let you know, I don't have to open a door for my dogs to go out in our backyard. There is a dog door. It's for a 100-pound dog, which Bosch barely gets under. He barely gets out of it, not width-wise, just height-wise. So they have a dog door in the storm door. So the back door is left open permanently. God to help the person that jumps over our backyard fence, because they're going to have a pack of wolves on top of them. But so I never fear leaving the back door open and leaving my house. But they have the choice to go in and out. They choose 99% of the time to be with us wherever we are. And but they have the choice to go out, go potty on their own, or check something out, evil squirrel in the tree or whatever else, but they don't stay out for very long. Now the Huskies, when it's very cold, they go out and they'll just lay out there like they would inside, because they love the cold. That's Husky summer for them.
Mine are with Ridgebacks. Mine want to lay out when it's warm in the sun.
Yeah.
So Nelson,
Okay.
are you saying that's okay? Because I thought you did say, I'm understanding what Jill's saying. I thought you said that wasn't okay to leave them in the backyard alone. Because I have one dog that will only be with me, and then the other dog does
if they choose to go out on their own and they wish to be, you want to be away from others.
Yeah.
So it's okay.
Okay, good.
It's not about you controlling every moment of their life. It's the exact opposite. It's them choosing to be with you because you're pertinent. You're valuable to them.
No, but you said this was before, like feeding them, that I'm supposed to be doing this. And so sometimes if it's like
Correct.
in the winter and it's nasty and I'm still in pajamas and I'm opening up the door for them to go out, like, I'm sorry, like I just haven't done it all the time, but I'm doing it more. And that's again, a huge step. Not 100%, but.
Well, you're involving yourself in what's important to them. You're saying you're important and what's important to you and what you see matters to me. Otherwise, if it doesn't matter to you, you're really not connected with your dogs. And that's what people don't get.
Yep.
And so you have no value to them other than feed me, pet me, the demands that dogs make that people think, oh, he loves me. No, you're just useful. So the more connection you can have, and obviously they're sentient beings, they make their own decisions. What we're trying to do is say, for us to live together better, in other words, we make decisions for behavior based upon how we live better together. If you have nothing to say about that, if you have no way to communicate to them what is good or bad to you in a trustworthy way and in a consistent way, then they're just going to do what they do, which is what most dogs do. And so you encounter them in certain ways, it reinforces that aspect, that behavior with them. And so that's how they assume you're going to want to encounter them always.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We are always reinforcing behavior, whether we know it or not, tacitly or not. Okay. When you accept something, when you don't have anything to say about it, when you're not involved in what they do, they're barking at a squirrel up at the tree, and you go, stop that, come here. You've just taken your value and worth from here to here with them, because that squirrel is so important to them. So instead, go out, look up, go, yeah, let's go. You know, acknowledge it, and then go, yeah, we can't get to the squirrel, or chase the squirrel across the tree to the other side. I can't tell you how many squirrels I've chased out of my backyard by running along with the dogs, because all of a sudden something that can climb up in the tree, the squirrel, instead of barking and throwing nuts down at my dog, all of a sudden goes, oh crap, there's a monkey here, I gotta go.
Unless you have red squirrels that turn around and chase you, like I have here.
Well, that's where a knife helps.
Yeah, that's actually where the dogs help. So
Yeah, there you
okay.
go. Okay, so let's continue with this video. I think we can get the rest of these pretty good. What were you doing with your hand there?
I don't know. Don't even know.
Okay.
This was a couple of weeks ago, so probably.
Watch.
Yeah.
Control. I've got to control. No. Trust the dog. Now, what did you just tell your dog? I don't trust you. He sees that. Those are old habits. The dog goes, oh, okay, we're still not connected.
Okay.
That's what I want you to understand is dogs are very intelligent. They see all these things. They see the old controls, the old habits. Okay. I'm not fussing at you.
No. This is what I need to learn.
It's what everybody needs to learn. Okay. You went out of my view. There you go. Good hand. Oh, look at the happiness with the dog there. Look at that bouncing communication. Oh boy, look at that. Yes. That was nice. That was a nice exchange. Look at that bouncy, I'm happy tail. Beautiful. That's very nice. It's like, oh, we're working together. You can just see it. Okay. So I'm going to stop this. I'm going to take the opportunity of, you know how a lot of high-end working dogs that trainers put videos and instructional stuff out. Nothing wrong with any of that. I'm not trying to denigrate anybody. You see how happy the dog is in the engagement. That right there, what you're seeing in that video is how soft and how that can be at any time. Doesn't have to be in high-end working stuff. The engagement with you is the important part. And a lot of the old style training was, if I'm not working with you, you're in a kennel or a crate. Mm-hmm. That's working dogs. That's how a lot of old time trainers used to do it. To me, they're missing the dog. And this is getting the dog.
Yeah, I get a lot of the, he's looking up at me a lot, which I take as, he's bought into it. He's just really trying to
No, he's saying, finally, you idiot human. Finally. Yeah, this is what I've been waiting for. Yeah, we idiot human primates, we're just weird animals, I include myself in that, trust me. So that was that was beautiful. That's gorgeous. Nice ending. Yeah, you feel it there, don't you?
Yeah, I do. It's I mean, that's why I said this is fun for us.
Yeah. That's the way it should be with all your dogs all the time. It should be enjoyable, not necessarily fun in the way of play, but it should be enjoyable to be able to communicate, be with your dog, and enjoy your dog, period.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. Sometimes it is work, but you ought to enjoy the work too. Okay. Very nice. I like that. Okay, Stacy, what are we doing here? Thanks, Jill.
It's the same thing, just using all of what you had given us.
Oh, okay. Okay. Nice. Putting it all together. Okay. Boy, I wish I had about a third of those logs there on my place.
Yeah. It was bittersweet to have them go, but they needed to go. They're so close to our house.
Yeah.
So I was playing with, usually when I need to like get myself centered and things aren't going the way, you know, we're not connecting. I will step back and tell myself, you know, I'm moving this way.
Mhm.
And so, but what I learned is I really need to be saying, we're moving this way. And so this is my first time of me saying, we are moving this way, instead of it,
Yeah.
I'm moving this way, and leaving the dog out of it.
Perfect. That's great. Okay. So the next step is, hey, buddy, let's go this way together.
Yeah.
Rather than the demand, it's, hey, let's go discover this area together, what we're doing together. They
Right.
become a partner then. And that's what you're looking, that's ultimately what you're looking for. And that's the steps you're going through is exactly what everybody goes through. It's instead of me, I am going this way, then it's we are going this way. Then it's, hey buddy, let's go discover this together. Let's be partners.
And this
Okay.
time, I don't know if you remember, but the last time was using a lot of distraction. You're like, stop that and go somewhere where he's not going to be distracted, which was really helpful because it just let us really work together rather than me trying to work with him away from a distraction.
Right.
So that seemed to work much better. There's one point up here where I put him on a stump, and I'm actually, my body language initially is like, go past this stump, but then there was dog poop right there. So you see me stand up real quick and he stops. It was amazing. I was like, wow, like it was just perfect. Such a good learning lesson for me to just see him just go, I see exactly what you're doing and I'm gonna go with you. Yeah.
And it's instantaneous because the response, when they're connected, when you both are connected, it's not about the dog. Let me take this opportunity.
Yeah.
It's not about the dog connected to you. It's about you both connected together. And you also respond to the dog seeing and doing things. Then the dog knows you are both partners, you're with each other. And that connection is extremely valuable. Then you become relevant to them, not because you demand and say so, but because you're a valuable partner for survival. That's the whole point. That's the pro-social aspects. Nice. Very good. Okay. Well, I've made lots of comments. You guys have gotten a lot of things, so I'm not going to go every microsecond here on some of these, but this is very nice. I'm not seeing anything that stands out to me in a critical way. I'm seeing a lot of good, smooth actions. Okay, quit fussing with the leash. Drop your hands. There you go. Relax.
I'm terrible. I hate the leash. Like I have got to get over it. I hate leashes. Like I just hate them. I don't want to use them.
Okay,
I don't
so
like them. And that's part of my problem. Is I really don't like them, and I futz with them all the time because I don't want them. I don't want them. That's so stupid. But I just really struggle with wanting to have a leash in my hand, and so you'll notice I do it all the time.
So so think about it in terms of I need to signal my relaxation by how I hold the leash to the dog. It's part of the communication.
Okay.
It's an added communicative device is what it is.
Okay.
It's a phone line to the dog's brain. So the more you fuss with it, the more you do all that stuff, that's nervousness. That's you're saying to the dog, I'm still uncertain about this. Instead, put it in your hand, drop your hand, you're relaxed, and just go.
Okay.
Total confidence, not just in that. You're telling the dog, I have total confidence in you to be with me.
Yep. And and the reason why I hate it is I hate the way it feels when it hits my leg, which is stupid. I know, and that stops me because as you were telling me before, you're like, don't mess with the leash. And I'm like, why do I mess with the leash? But it's because I don't like the way it hits me. And I'm like, you just got to get over it. You got to be able to do it because you're right. I'm telling the dog, I don't feel comfortable, but I feel comfortable. I just don't like that leash. So
Yeah.
gotta get rid of it. Gotta get rid of that idea.
Okay.
Working on it.
Think of it as the leash is a tool. It's the only tool I've ever used that I really need. That's it. It's to keep the dog from going away from me past a certain distance, regardless of, if that's a 1 foot traffic lead or a 50-foot long line. All it's there for is to keep the dog from going past a certain distance. And for me to tell the dog, I am relaxed and confident, you are with me.
I like that. Thank
That's
you.
what the leash is for. Okay, so let's see, there was something here.
That's where, right there.
Right there. You look at the leash, look at your arm. Look what you did. So these are the moments that we unknowingly send an opposite signal, a break of trust of the dog. We as humans are constantly doing things like this. Now watch from here, watch what you do. You start pulling, see, you pull that up this way, like you're guiding the dog instead of using all of the other stuff that the dog recognizes better than you do. Okay, I'm not saying you, I'm saying everybody. We can see that in everybody here.
Yeah.
Is that physical action of controlling the dog with the leash, and that's not what you're trying to do here. So watch the hand, see how that left hand starts tensing up. Anytime your bicep tenses up, you're telling the dog, I don't trust myself. I don't trust you. I don't trust this to communicate well. So I've got to control the situation. Imagine a human partner trying to control every bit of your action. Okay.
Got it.
Okay. Yeah, there's a lot of I don't know what to do with the leash there.
I know.
Yeah,
And every time I get with the leash, I'm like,
yeah.
And if I don't have the
Yeah.
leash, he's right with me. But it's me dicking with the leash all the time. And I'm like, I hate that. I know it's me.
It almost becomes a nervous habit. It's like someone playing with their hair all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. So be cognizant of it and work on that. Try to get something else. So again, watch as you turn. It was fine until you turn and see how the bicep starts tensing up.
Yep.
Okay. Good. Oh, this is good. Okay, let's see. All right, what's this? Ah, Rachel. Couldn't tell if it was. Okay, so what's going on here, Rachel? Besides a goofy dog.
I think it's also combining all three.
Okay.
I would say, I'm not sure, but I guess so.
Yeah, it looks like it. Okay. So watch so I'm going to back this up. I want you to watch the timing of the dog. I want you to count the quarter, half, or seconds that it takes the dog to respond and agree with that action. So I'm going to back this up a bit. So when you indicate, didn't get the dogs, too much excitement against that snowbank. There we go. Shake off, and then it starts sort of paying attention to you. Okay, right there. Okay, that was the first one. So how long did it take the dog to respond? Let's watch here. I'm going to stop right here. Now you start going straight. Okay. And as soon as you start reacting, I want you to count in your mind how long it took the dog. What do you think? Let's watch this again. So I'm going to stop right there. You start turning there. Dog's still going forward. What happens there? Okay, so you're already turned 90 degrees. I'm seeing the tail starting to go this way, indicating my mind is going that way with you. Doesn't physically act yet. Now, stop there. See that instant right there? Does everybody see that? Shake your head or go, no, I don't see it, or yes, or okay. So I'm gonna back this up just a couple of seconds right there. Okay. This is perfect example of a dog whose mind is this is probably the half-second mind. We've seen the eighth and the quarter second. This is the half-second where it's so focused, it's so on whatever it's on out here. And yet, even with that distraction, happiness, whatever you want to call it, self-confidence, all of those things of self-containment, within a half a second, the dog responds. So watch. Right there, you stop right there. Okay. I want you to watch. Okay, you're turning right there. Tail, head. There you go. So let's go back in real time. Turn now. See it?
Mm-hmm.
So even in that amount of just that half a second of time, the dog is getting it. It seems very distracted, kind of running around. Very nice. Did you see how quick that was then? Beautiful. Now he's going, okay, I got this. Yeah. Even in front of you, he's paying attention to you implicitly. I don't see a tense leash at all. Okay.
Not here right now, but
Well,
still happen
yeah,
quite often.
that's okay. Yeah. Okay. So now he's going, okay, I see the game. Oh, that was nice. That was a nice weight right there. Okay. And that's something that I would definitely do too is, okay, I'm just going to pause. I'm going to pause. There you go. Okay. So he's choosing to be as far away from you as he feels comfortable without him putting tension on the leash. Okay. That's good. Yeah, okay, so he gets to the end there. He thinks, okay, we're going to go out of this game and go elsewhere. Right?
Yeah, it's new
Here.
territory to speak. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the cats
goes,
are coming close. Yeah.
Ah, okay. 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 What I would suggest is break that cycle there, and when you turn this way and he's behind you, then turn the opposite direction so that he doesn't get to just continually circle at distance from you.
You mean turning towards him then, or her?
Yes. Yeah. Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
What we call inside versus outside.
Yeah, usually I would do that at a certain point, but because we had like the instruction to go to the other side, I didn't.
Yeah. Okay. Well, his timing is pretty good, actually. He's responding well. So this is a dog that is not your dog, doesn't have the connection of ownership and the continuous aspect. So the communication is join me doing these things, and the dog's doing it, but he's saying, okay, but I really don't have a close connection with you. Yeah, I understand you and all that stuff. So this is a good exercise for people who have never worked with a dog other than their own. And what I would suggest is work these things with someone else's dog sometimes for you guys that are not trainers. Okay, that was a very nice little exchange right there. So you just stood there, he came up to you. It's like, okay, check in. Beautiful. Yep, very nice. Okay. So that was good because in that minute, 2 minute time frame, then you were just kind of doing this constantly. And then you just stopped and allowed him, it was a recheck, it was a recentering of things. And he comes in, checks in with you. It's like, are we okay? Yeah, we're okay, buddy. That was nice. Yep. He goes, okay, I'm ready to work. He goes, what are we doing? How are we doing? There you go. Got his, yeah. Okay. That's good. Okay, so this is a great example of, you indicated to him, come this way, but it wasn't to go anywhere. It was to come back center with you. Watch, guys. See, that was nice. Okay. And that's perfect. That's a perfect part of this type of exercise. Come back center to me. Now we can go do things together. So you've asked him that like 3 times and he's responded each time. It took him a little longer this time because he thought that part with that check-in was over. He said, I've checked in with you a couple of times. Okay, now what's going on? So this was good. That was good centering. Yeah, nice connection. Very good. For a dog like this that is not your dog and working it, he's happy, he's doing stuff. I wouldn't be happy in the cold. He's loving this snowbank over here.
Absolutely.
He didn't pay attention to you that first couple of times because he was just kind of in the snowbank enjoying it.
She loves to roll into snow and digging into snow and all this kind of stuff. So he's really into it. Yeah.
That was neat. Okay. Thanks for that. What's that? Oh, how dogs see the world. I didn't see that. Yeah, blues to yellows. Yeah. Did they mention the ultraviolet at all, Pache? I didn't look at this.
They did mention the ultraviolet. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just kind of interesting.
Okay. Maryland. Oh, no, this is Kel. Okay. I saw the picture below. Okay, so nice. There's a little bit of hesitancy there with the dog. Okay. Now you're kind of getting it together. There you go. It's like, okay. So each time the nose goes down, that's that uncertainty, hesitancy in this case. It's not always the case, but if you watch, let's start over. Okay. So dog's uncertain, goes, okay. Now watch your pace, watch your feet. I want you to look at your feet and see the dog slow down its hesitancy in this first few steps. Watch your pace and the distance that your feet cover. So initially it's big, and then right there you kind of right there. Okay. Kind of slow it down, and the dog sort of hesitates. You're slowing it down. Initially you go, okay. And then you start kind of see how you're right through here, the steps shorten.
Yeah. And I think it's because I'm trying to stay on camera.
Right. But watch what happens to the dog when you indicate that. Right there, it goes, okay, I don't know. See how it's starting to, I don't know what's going on. Sorry, guys. Okay. Same thing. Stop. Dog goes the nose, the ground. So initially it's just, okay, I'm trying to see the dog. Yeah. Okay, good. Nice check-in. It was good of you to stop. That's good. Pretty. That was a nice check-in. Dog is still uncertain about things. But at least it's not the way it was before with all the traffic and everything too. That's nice. Very nice check-ins. Oh, nice. Nice following.
Yeah, I think she's gotten used to my weirdness by now.
Yeah, but relax that arm. Look at your leash arm.
Oh.
You're holding it tense. Relax it. Let it swing a little bit even.
Okay.
Just a touch. Okay. you know, again, we're communicating to the dog all the time. Okay, I'm not going to belabor a lot of these. Good. Okay. Marilyn.
Yeah.
There we go. There we go. Nice check. Good timing.
I need more room, I think.
Yeah. That'll help. Okay. Okay. What I would do here is simply pause, let him satiate whatever it is he's looking at over here, and then go, boom, instead of beseeching him constantly to be with you. Just give it a pause. Let him focus on that. If you watch, must be a big file here. Yeah. See there, he's going, no, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. Almost, but no. Okay. So what really helped him that way? What do you see?
I think I leaned into him, but I don't know. Oh, what did
Here,
you say, Kelly?
let's go back. So, okay, right here. So he's going, you're not moving. Oh, see, you almost
I
moved.
leaned.
Yeah. And then there, that big step, he goes, okay, now I get it. It wasn't just the hand. That's where, in other words, you've got to mean, there you go. See, when you started to, that foot came up, he goes, okay, we're moving. So he doesn't quite have the hand itself yet associated. He goes, okay, if you're moving, I'm moving, but otherwise I'm not moving. There you go. See, that's a perfect example right there. Okay.
I swear I condensed these files. I don't know what happens. I need to redo
That's
it.
okay. That's all right. Okay. So right here, watch the timing of your foot and when his paw starts moving forward. There. You see it? It's like a dance. Both together. Yeah. So, okay. So all of the start, stop. Yeah. You need a bigger place to do this with. Not that you need a bigger place, bigger place to do this. Yeah. He just doesn't see the point at this point.
Yeah, no, he was bored when I did like 4 videos. This was the first video. By then he was like, leave me alone. Okay.
Yeah. So finally, that's a good one right there too. So watch, he's going, no, 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 you really don't mean it. You really don't mean it. Now you're okay. So you took 2 steps and that's what got him there.
So what you're saying is my hand and feet have to move at the same time?
Yeah. Mean it. Don't be hesitant. Yeah. Don't be uncertain. And that's what the uncertainty is, the staccato back and forth and the hand only versus the feet and all that. Yeah. Put it all together.
Okay.
Nice. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. Kelsey. Rooftop Kelsey. That's what you're going to be known as from now on.
I'm okay with that.
So which graffiti is yours?
Oh, I wish I could claim one. That's a good idea.
Okay. Let's get this. There we go. There we go. Sorry. I'm so glad to see you guys not tugging on the leash to get your dog to go. That's beautiful. Okay. So what do you think? Okay, so let's go back to that first here. What do you think finally clicked in the dog's mind to go with you? What was it? What was the difference? Because to begin with, look, you're going that, he's going, nah.
Okay. So we also did this a couple of times. This was the last time that we did it.
Mm-hmm.
But is it the sinking of the foot and
So he's completely, for the first 20 something seconds here, he's interested in something over there. Okay. So whatever's going on over there, a smell, whatever it is, he's more interested in that in the moment. See, where his attention's that whole way. He's going, no, there's something over here. He's trying to look where his nose keeps going up. He's trying to determine what's going on. Look at the tail. Okay, fixed tail, up, curled. There's some excitement. There's some predatory aspect in the mind right there, trying to determine something. Look at that.
Could I have responded to him there?
You could just wait the dog out at that moment. Okay. Until you get clear communications on as a regular basis. That's the point, is you're both learning at the same time, and you're both learning how to communicate with each other. It's not a matter of I demand you do what I ask you to do or tell you to do. It's let's do this together. The dog is saying, but there's something more important right here. I'm trying to tell you there's something more important in the moment. Okay. So he's trying to communicate to you. You're fixed on just moving. So what I would do probably is go over next to the dog's face, and I'd probably go,
Okay.
like this.
Okay.
Like, that's not of interest. Let's go. Without saying a word, I'd do a little bit of the sniff. You know, you guys have been around me. You've seen me do that with a dog, sniffing something and actually make the sound that they do, which is that in-out puff.
Do you do that at his snout level or at your standing height?
No, I would probably go down. I would go down close to where the dog is. Look, you know, the dog's going to check in with you, and then I'd lift my head up and literally like I'm sniffing the air, and then I make the sound, the sniffing sound in and out to where this dog has no doubt that's what I'm doing. It hears it, it sees it, it's all reinforced. And then I go, yeah, not of interest, basically. Okay. So that
Nelson, what do you do like when you're in the city and like it's a human and another dog that catch his attention?
Very similar things. It's like, I got this, buddy, don't worry about it. When you when you gain this connection with the dog, the more you gain that connection with the dog and the more you're able to communicate well, the more they understand that you're not concerned about that. It's not that we're avoiding that. We're not, you know, when humans retreat, that's what it feels like to the dog. And the dog's going, no, we can take them. And the human's dragging them away, saying, I'm a coward. And the dog's going, I'm not. I'm a predator. I'm going to go over there and kill him. And you're dragging the dog away. And the dog's going, oh, the shame. My human's a weakling, you know. And that's really a lot of the relationship that's set up is the human saying, I'm weak. I'm afraid of this. Let's just run away. And so that it frustrates the dog, and it creates more and more of that situation instead of the human going, yeah, I don't care. Let's go over here and do this instead. That's what I mean by intent. And that comes through to the dog. And the more you do these types of communications with the dog, the more the dog is connected to you, looks to you for answers, and trusts you. And that's what you're trying to get. Okay. So it's I go back to my saying, it is the cumulative value of everything you do with and around your dog. That's this. Okay. So there. Dog's finally satiated, said, okay, and then makes the connection. Nice. That was a very pretty check-in, even mid stride there. Watch right there, that look up. That was beautiful.
Yeah, I noticed something really nuanced in the beginning with that, where the dog was looking over, and she was kind of tried to guide the dog with her hand, but the dog was still like, I'm looking at this thing over here. And then she kind of looked at the dog, but never really looked into the direction to where he was looking to. And once she looked at in the direction, even if it was on an unconscious level, and then went back to the direction that she wanted to go, that's when the dog looked up at her and checked in and was ready to move forward.
Yes, you got it. Yep. Perfect. Because it is all about nuance. Every bit of this is about nuance, guys. Very pretty. Oh, nice. And he goes, wait a minute. There's another smell. Another sound. There you go. That was good. Okay. Now the check-in right there. Notice you were still backing up. He's moving forward.
Yeah, I missed it. Yeah.
Yeah, you could have gone, boom. Okay, let's go. Right there. Because you probably have a reset. See, and he's going, I don't know. I don't know. Got it. And that's that, again, that's that quarter second of time that you guys have to reconnect with the dogs. Okay. These are beautiful for this type of stuff. Yeah, he's going, nah, okay. Still curious about whatever he's curious about over there. Little playful aspect there.
Very playful.
Yeah. It's like, hey. Okay, so that's displacement behavior right there. And the displacement was something's over here, and he's trying to affect you to play because he's really interested in something in a predatory sense over here. So play is a suspension of normal rules to put another set of rules in to practice predatory behavior. That's what play is. Okay. So he's trying to say, well, hey, we can't get to that. You won't let me. So let's play. I have an excited predatory mind. There you go. And then you go, no, I didn't want to. And he goes, okay, well, you lost my interest, but okay.
Nelson, in that moment with the predatory play, is he trying to get her to engage and get more interested in what he's looking at?
No, it's not necessarily in what he's interested in. It's the excitatory part of the brain that's stimulated and not satiated.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of pent up. It's when we go into course 2, especially course 3, definitely course 4, we go into neurobiology and the biological aspect of all the neurotransmitters and hormones in the brain that when you excite the brain's in a state of mind to think a certain way. It's not thinking about what you're doing here. It's thinking about the predatory action. That's what it does. And so it has no outlet. So then it says, okay, well then let's play, because the brain is still in that state of mind.
And to satiate it. Okay.
Yep. Yeah.
So
and until you change the chemical balance in the brain, it's going to stay in that excitatory mind. So it needs to do something to alleviate that. So even a speed up of action in a training mode, I'll say, if you had the dog jump up on something and then follow you here and all that stuff, that satiates that part of the brain. So when you see a stimulated brain, you have to up your level, but stay within this, we're working together, rather than you get to go get the squirrel. And that's how you handle those. Okay. That's where speed has meaning. So if you don't match where the brain is, that brain, if you don't match and bring down where that brain is with what you're asking it, it's going to stay up here, and it's got to have an outlet. So you have to match the dog and then bring it wherever, either way. Okay. Does that help, guys?
Yes, thank you.
That was good, Kelsey. Thank you. Okay. Here we go. Looks like a statue there for a minute. Okay. That I'm not fussing at you, but this is a perfect
No.
example of what not to do with your hand. This is like swatting a fly away. Okay, so what you said, so watch your hand.
Yeah.
So your hand sweeps in a circular arc. Boom. And it's not the pointing. You went the direction your hand ended up pointing.
Right.
It's the sweeping arc, the motion where you're saying, let's do this, and then you don't do that. That's confusing. So in other words, the direction is a straight line of where you want to go. Okay. That's where hand has to be the directional detail, because a body facing this way can go in a certain angle area, but the hand itself is pointing out the exact direction. That's what I want you guys to understand. If you're sweeping, you're basically saying, let's turn around or come around me. And then you didn't do that in your behavior and action. Okay.
Okay.
So let's get the hands. So it's the motion, not the pointing. It's like you doing this in front of a dog. They're going to sniff your finger. They're not looking at the way you're pointing. Okay. Not fussing at you there. See that sweep action?
Yeah.
And so it would have indicated this direction right here rather than the way you're pointing. Does that clarify it?
Yeah.
And then he's going, okay, that's not where you're facing. That's not where I'm interested. And then, so when we're unclear, the dog doesn't really trust us.
Right.
It's a general area. So we're trying to get, oh, yeah. Oh, there was a check-in. You should have given him direction there. He's going, what are we doing? Where are we going? Right there.
Yeah.
That was the time.
Yep.
You have to be ready. That's the communication back and forth that I'm talking about, guys.
Yeah.
When you've got to be sensitive to what your dog is asking of you too. And then lost him. And then he goes, yeah, well, you already lost me.
Yeah.
And primal instinctual dogs.
There was another check-in too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he goes, yeah, I don't care. And then he goes, oh, what are you doing? You're coming at me.
Okay.
I was like, are you going to hit me in the head type thing? Yeah, look at that. And he goes, no, you're not. Forget it.
I'm pretty sure I was pretty tired when I did this video too.
Yeah.
I was not quite there myself.
Yeah. Oh, even a lip lick there.
No.
That's okay. Nobody's perfect. We get tired. We get distracted. Hey, at least he's not pulling on the leash. There you go. Okay, that was nice. That was nice. There was a bit of a. So watch his face right through here. What are we doing? Okay. So there was a lot of things going on. Are you going to pet me? What are you doing? So it comes up. There was a lot of confusion right there. Checks in. He looks up. He goes, are you going to pet me? No. Okay. And then the lip lick right there is like, okay, we're doing something different. There were like 3 things he was thinking at that moment. That's the husky part of the brain working right now. Beautiful dog, really is. It's interesting. These so-called wolf dog breeders, they use a combination of Malamute Husky and German Shepherd to create a wolfy looking dog that people pay $2,000 for because they think they're getting a wolf. And what they get is a German Shepherd wolfy looking dog that's actually a Malamute Husky brain.
Yeah.
So stupid people. Anyway, okay. Well, that's good. Thank you. And then, okay. Dasha. Okay, what are we doing, Dash? There we
All
go.
together, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. That's an actual sniffing. That's not a displacement behavior right there.
Yes, there was marks of
Yeah.
other dogs.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Okay. And that's where you got to get that brain back on you. This is where you would use a sound to get the brain back and then instantly give that signal. I know we're not doing that in this exercise, but that's where you would start the sound to get the brain on you and then, yeah, focus. Good, 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 good. Yeah, you never tense the leash, which is perfect. Okay. Okay, so I'm looking at this. So this is a sensitive dog, right?
Sensitive to the weather, yes.
Okay, but also
But
looking out at things.
Yes, yes, she checks everything.
Yes, so that's what I mean by sensitive. So watch this. So the dog gets it. We're moving this direction. It's coming that direction quite well. And then you stop and it looks, okay, why did you stop? Why are you turning away? So it's looking out for, well, why did you do that? And it's looking at this human. So in its mind, it's saying, well, there must be something wrong with that human. I've noticed this. Let me explain this. I've noticed this with sensitive dogs, not necessarily fearful dogs. People think they are fearful, but they're actually sensitive dogs to movement, to all of these actions. They're not as predatory in behavior as other dogs. So they become what it appears to be, kind of fearful or uncertain about things, when in fact their sensitivity is. I've worked with these dogs over the years, and when I take them out in public, if we avoid something, like we turn away or we stop, the dog's always looking, why did we stop? Why did we turn away? So it's assigning a value of, okay, those humans must not be trustworthy. Those humans must be a threat. And so it starts assigning the value of all of these people I can't encounter them because this human senses something I don't and is turning away. So what I would make sure that I would do, the dog doesn't have to be petted or even encounter the other humans, but I've seen you do this in other videos here, is walk past those people like nothing, like there's no big deal. And that way the dog doesn't start assigning a fearful or sensitive state to because it's looking for reasons that you're turning or stopping. That's what it's doing. Okay.
So when I stop or turn, I must look out when maybe it's people, because I don't pay attention to it. I stop and because I never think that she's fearful or sensitive to other people.
She's
basically
looking for the movement. Yeah, she's looking for movement, whether it's a truck going by or a human or whatever else. I've noticed that in all the videos that you've posted is when you stop, turn, do something different, or the dog doesn't quite, it's not in sync with you, then it's looking out for all of these things.
Why did I do it? Yes. Why did I stop? Why?
Yeah. Why are we stopped? Why are we doing this? Why are we avoiding those? That's what it's looking for, is what is the threat? What's the threat? That's the way dogs like that seem to work. And so you actually unbeknowingly, and I went through that stage myself till I figured it out. Why is this dog getting more sensitive and more fearful about situations? Well, I was teaching it to be that way by avoiding. I had to learn that. So, so then I started just walking past nonchalantly these people, and then I would turn and do something else. So I made it a point to show the dogs nothing wrong with anything that we do or anywhere we go. So don't worry about it. And by the way, we're going to turn, or we're going to stop, or we're going to jump up on this or whatever. So just be cognizant of that. Okay. This was a good example of it.
And with other dogs, how we pass them? When we see other dogs, do I need to make
kind of a similar thing? It's like, yeah, I would, with that dog, I would squat down next to her, look and go, oh, let's go this way. No big deal. Okay. You would be, your demeanor is, I'm not concerned about that. I'm curious like you are, but no big deal. Let's go do something else. Okay.
Because I think I did exactly opposite thing when I stop and look to other dog, and like it's really a threat. So she became to see other dogs like it.
Yeah. Yeah. If you become stiff and still and use a stare, a hard predatory stare towards them, then your dog is going to see that as, oh, you're concerned about this. That's a threat. I need to be fearful of it. Yeah. So instead, it's just like, yeah, no big deal. Okay. Yeah. Let's go do this instead. I'm not concerned about that. I'm uninterested in what's going on over there. This is more important together. Let's go do this. Let's have some enjoyment. Okay. That's the intent behind what you do. Okay? So there you go. So I like the little steps there. So notice that was a perfect example. I didn't even look at that and through the end of it till then. So see the dog, human goes by. Now you get the interest of the dog. Until that human went by. Okay, so let's look back this whole thing here. Okay. So a dog goes forward, goes, okay, we're going forward. You stop, the dog looks, okay, well, what's there? Oh, it's that human. Okay, I'm going to watch and make sure. Then it's like, okay, now I'll go with, yeah.
And it was human with something. So it's not like,
okay,
like
so
other humans.
Yeah, look at the avoidance there. It's not that she's afraid of everything. She's curious about why you stop. So there, she's avoiding that human. Even see it, look at that. That little look, right there. And then, okay, I'm turning away. I'm showing them I'm not a threat. Your dog's saying, I'm not a threat to that human. But, and your posture is also, I'm not a threat. So she's mirroring you in that behavior. Oh, sorry. Didn't realize I stopped it there. Okay. Yeah, very sensitive about movement, other people around, and is uncertain about moving anywhere. Okay, so different location slightly, or just different angle?
Different location also, slightly.
Okay. See, that's almost perfect engagement and timing right there. Less distractions around. Yeah, concern,
People.
there's a human. Yeah,
Mhm.
there's a human going by. Not gonna get,
I never recognized this in her.
yeah. There you go. That was good wait time. You waited for her to process. It's not just a matter of, okay, human's gone, let's go. Then you really are teaching, okay, until that human is out of sight, we don't move. Instead, you let her process, okay, everything's okay, and then you went on. That was good timing. Because if you wait until that human's out of sight and you go right now, then you're literally associating the timing of let's go with that human. Okay. So be careful.
It's like this was a threat. We need to wait when he is gone, and then we can go.
Right. So instead, once that person left, your dog was processing this. It's gone. You waited a minute. That was perfect. The dog satiates and then you go. Good. So you didn't associate, you see in the dog's mind, okay, everything's okay. And rather than associate it exactly with that person and that timing, you waited, paused, and then went. And so the dog, your dogs will not associate that we can't move if there's a threat over here. Okay.
I understand.
I hope, okay. I hope I explained it well enough, guys.
Yes.
For all of you. Okay. Well, that's nice. That's nice. Pretty responsive there. There. Good, 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 good. That was, okay. So I'm going to back this up a second. Okay. That was good response and time because you meant it. So watch. So the dog's going with you. Okay. The stop. Okay. There. Now, and you kept going. That second step. Okay. Just like rooftop. And just like Marilyn, that lean, that step, and that second step. No, I really mean it. Let's go. So that's what you're seeing here. Got to mean it. Okay, wasn't paying attention now. That second step there, I really mean it. We're going this way. Okay. Yeah, don't have him look at the dog though. Huh, what's that? It's like an orange.
Yes.
Okay. Well, actually that's good to engage on, up, and over because it gives the dog something interesting rather than just walking back and forth on the sidewalk. So
yes, we do it on our walks. Good.
Okay. Well, that was good. That was interesting. Thank you. All right. It looks like we're through with 3 times ago, whatever. Finally. Okay. Let's see. We are at a little over an hour and a half in. Okay. So this is. Okay. Okay. I just want to watch to begin with. Okay. All right. So I'm going to back this one up because this one's a good one to look at. Okay. So when you're walking toward, that's fine. Now, let's sync volumes up. Okay. Find it first.
Oh, find it before we hit it?
Find it is pay attention to me. That's the snap of the finger. That's the hey. That's the whatever. It's the warning order to get the brain to boom. Something's going on. Now the hand comes in front of the face. Okay. So it's sound first, instantly the hand, and then all of the other. Okay.
So I was doing the find it when I was like hitting the bucket. So
yeah,
I got it wrong.
no,
Sorry.
That's okay. Tapping the bucket is the end sound of this is exactly where I mean. I'm getting your attention on this.
Got it. Got it.
Okay, so there's two sound points, the beginning and the end. Okay, so we clarify that. So right here, okay. Now where the heck is the hand? Okay, so imagine the dog in front of you. So the height of the dog is down here, about here. You start up.
Yep.
Here, dog is not here. The eyes are down here, and that's where you go to drop that hand straight down and then sweep around you and go to that. Okay. I'm critiquing everybody by critiquing you here. Okay. I'm not fussing at you.
No. This was a more challenging one without a dog.
Yes, it is. Okay. So now look at your body. What direction are you facing?
Straight. Not even close to the bucket.
Right, that way. So this is where the rotation, that foot and that heel, your ball of foot should be here and your heel should be up and back behind it, parallel to that direction. Okay, this foot should be stepping over here out of the way of the bucket. You want the dog to have a clear pathway straight here. You're leaning over the pathway. The dog is not going to want to go underneath you. You're blocking the way and you're facing the opposite direction. Okay. You see how all this works together?
I do. This is amazing. Yeah.
Okay. Well, some people would call it something else, but okay.
No, I really like this. It's
okay. So yeah, so you're leaning over the pathway and the dog is not going to want to come underneath you. Why? Because that's what level of possession? Level 4, over the top of. Okay. So you're saying, I own this. Don't dare come in here. And I'm opposing you. I'm facing you where the dog probably is at this point.
Got it.
So stop. That's what you're saying with the body. Okay. So you're not inviting anyone in there. That's okay. So it points it out. Okay.
That's how you learn.
Yes, it is.
I just did all 4 directions. So
that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So sweep. Now, the other thing I'm going to tell you, when you bring the dog in, first of all, on this, you're going to have the leash in your left hand. Your dog's going to be on left-hand side, right? And you want about 1.5 feet for a big dog, maybe 2 foot lead for a smaller dog, shorter dog. Okay. Don't hang your dog. And as that hand sweeps, you're actually going to move both hands in. This one about 1 foot or so behind, because you want to reinforce this is the direction everything's going. I don't want to have my hand back here holding the dog back, telling it, don't go in there. I want both hands moving forward, even though you're not putting tension on the leash. The dog gets, everything's going that way. My head, my body, everything is pointing to that. So it gets the focus of the dog there and makes it want to go in. Okay.
got it.
Yeah, look where your foot is. It's actually blocking the way. Okay. Okay, that's all right. That's why I wanted to see these things before you screwed up your dog. I mean, before you do this. Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Pache. Well, you've done this before. You should be an expert. Okay, and there we go. So same thing, we're leaning over the direction we're asking the dog.
Yeah.
Both feet should be pointed this way.
Okay.
Okay. And the hips, what did you call them? Your childbearing hips?
I didn't say that, but
yeah, you did. At course 2, you commented on one of the photos. It was hilarious. Anyway.
And you have better
So-
memory than I do.
Yeah. So the rotation of the body, the chest, the hips, the feet, the knees themselves pointing into that
Yeah.
spot and everything going in. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's do that again.
I
Okay.
felt
The other-
super awkward with the not like trying to imagine holding the leash and
Yeah, it
using
looks
leashes.
like it. That's okay. So the other thing you don't want to do is round off. Okay. So, okay, so I'm going to stop this. We're going to go back to the beginning and I'm going to stop. So look how far away you are from cars here. Okay. You really want to be no more than about 4 feet away. So you're parallel here. And as you take that step and turn, your hand is able to get to that. You want the dog around 6 feet away from that. So this is the pathway of the dog right here. Okay, so too far out from the target area itself, and you're having to move in. So you're already telling the dog you're going to something before you ever signal here. See how you, so that's kind of a staccato thing. This is the line you should have been in the first place. And I'm talking to everybody here.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the line you should have been walking down with the dog right here. Now you can simply turn and go in. Okay. Does that help, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. That's why we're doing these. Okay. So Rachel. Okay. There you go. See, that's what I want to see there. Even that knee down a little bit more of an angle so that you're on the ball of the foot there. Okay. So it's like you're driving forward. That's the indication for your dog. So you, okay. This hand, the only thing I would say, look at her eyes right here, shoulders, hips, everything is pointing toward that spot. Almost perfect. Okay. I would say knee down, in other words, bent a little bit. And this hand right here should also come forward to where it's about here.
Okay.
So both hands together.
While I was doing it, I was really thinking about what am I doing with this left hand? I mean, I cannot keep the dog back, but somehow it.
Right.
So you answered these questions before already. So thank you, because I was really unsure. This left hand doesn't look correct. So yeah.
Yeah. No, what you're saying is hold back, hold back, hold back to the dog.
Yeah. Yeah, that is what I had in mind. I mean, not intentionally, but I was realizing my hand is back and that doesn't fit with the exercise. So
right. So one of the other things that we want to do is when we're doing this, it's almost like we're launching off, like we're going up, like we're about to jump. And that's what we're telling the dog. I don't want the dog to look up. I don't want the dog jumping. I want them down at the ground level here. So when we bend that knee, we're grounding ourselves. We're going deeper. And that's part of the signal to the dog. Okay. I don't think I've ever explained that in our face-to-face class. We just don't have time to cover stuff like these details, unfortunately. Okay. But good. So only those 2 little details. That's really good.
Yeah, I realized that I'm not, when I was rewatching it, I wasn't that deep.
Yeah. See where that is. Yeah.
Yeah. But I have difficulty to go even deeper. I
understand.
Down. But I can try. I mean, it's
okay. Yeah. Well, one thing might help. Let's go back and look for a second. One thing might help is to kind of scoot that back foot forward a little bit. Wait a minute. Let me look at something here. Okay. Yeah, see how body's arching, you're actually coming up here. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you can, okay, so here's your body balance is way over here. What I would do is maybe make a slightly larger step here and then put your weight back a little bit to where you're using both legs instead of just one leg.
Okay.
That'll help you. Okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Because if you see, you're putting it all on one leg and
Yes.
you
Yeah.
can't get deeper. So instead, shift it back a little bit. Actually, as you get down, you can actually reach further then.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Did everybody see that? Sorry, I keep forgetting about expanding. But okay, so let's watch this first one. Good. Okay. Nice rotation here. Look at how both the knees, this back foot, everything rotates, the hips rotate. If your hips rotate, your legs, your knees, and your feet have to rotate. Okay. And you want to do it kind of on the ball of your foot, kind of like this area right here at your toes. Okay. Right behind your toes. That's where you want to rotate. That also helps keep your balance. Okay. So, all right. Not bad. Dasha, is this your husband or?
Yes.
Okay. He's got good form.
But he's not very good in English, so.
That's okay. That's okay. That's beautiful. Look where his eyes are. His eyes are looking at the spot. His head, his shoulders are almost perfectly turned. Hips, feet, knees. That's the position. I know there's a short distance right here, but that's it. That's what you want. Tell him good job.
Okay. Of course I tell him.
Yeah. Good. That was nice. And what we're doing for clarity, guys. So what we want is we're going to place a scent just above ground level. Okay. So the dog's nose is going to follow along. It's going to be wanting to be at ground level. So we're going to place a scent on a vertical surface just above the ground plane. So when we pat, what I typically do is I'm going to turn my hand this way downward to point downward. And that scent is going to be right at ground plane. I'm going to touch just above it. I don't want to touch the scent. I want to stay out of the way of the dog's nose. And I want to bring it tap, tap, tap. I want to get its attention just there and have its nose there. If we pat up here, the dog's going to want to come up here because that's where you're getting its attention. So just for detail, so that you guys know, we're going to plant a scent just above ground level. And I want your hand just barely above that scent mark. Okay. And the scent is going to be about 3 inches or what would that be in centimeters?
10.
10 centimeters. Yeah. Yep. Okay. Good job. Yeah, Robin said, great form. Yes. Yeah, I have not seen this. The chicken herder.
They follow me everywhere.
That's great. Let me see that again. That's all I was looking at. Okay. Turn, rotate. Okay. Good form, pretty much right here. That hand is back here, though. Bring it forward. Okay. That's good. That's nice. Now make sure you are not in the way of that path. You should not be straight along. Okay. So let me clarify that for everybody. I'm going to do a little white marker board here. I guess I'll expand myself again. So for the moment, I'm going to stop share. Okay. So looking down from above, okay, here's where the scent is placed. We're walking along here. Dog is here. Okay. As we turn, we're actually going to be right here. And we want the dog coming straight in. So don't get in the way of the dog. Don't turn into it this way either. Your body and everything else should be over here. Your hand will reach across and pat over on top. Okay. So vertically, if we had a post here in the ground plane, that is where our scent is going to be right there. So we want the dog to rotate, come straight in 90 degrees into that scent right there. That's where we want our dog. You want to be over here next to it, out of the way. And don't lean over this pathway. Don't lean over, okay? So that's what we're working on. Let's see, Stacy and Panche, didn't you guys do the nose workshop? Yeah. You remember that stuff?
I was sick for it.
Oh,
Sadly.
you were
That
sick.
was when
Okay.
I was.
So Stacy, you
Yeah.
went through it. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
and it was good. Yeah, and we use it.
Good. Okay. Yeah, that was a 4-day nose workshop, and we actually went way beyond what I thought we would be able to. The people and the dogs were great. That was a blast. I'd love to do that workshop again somewhere on Earth. I mean, we were even doing field trials with the dogs, and they were picking up just about every scent. So that was pretty amazing on that 4th day. I had a blast.
I did too.
So, okay, here we go. Let's go back to, oh, there we go. This, okay. So let's continue on this. Okay. I can't see from that angle, you know, whether,
Can you enlarge it a little bit?
yeah, hang on a second. Something's going on here. I'm not. Why is my screen sharing paused? Okay, I got to get out of it and go back. Sorry. Something happened. That's what. Okay, there we go. Okay. Love those chickens. Well-trained chickens. There. Okay. See now right there, it looks like you're almost in the way of the dog there. Okay. So you should be over right about here and let the dog have that pathway. Okay. Again, only other crit here is where that hand is. So bring it up, bring the dog to it. If your dog is uncertain or fearful, you can actually take a little bit of leash tension and just allow the dog to come forward to get the leash tension off of it. That's what you're asking. And then you get the attention, tap, 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 come over here. Okay. So a sensitive dog like yours, Dasha, they're not going to understand to begin with. Once they start, what I want you to do when we do this next time, okay, I'm going to post all the stuff that you're going to do for this next time. When you video it, make sure you go to 5, 6, 7 locations. In other words, you're going to plant scent in different locations along a walk. I'll explain more about that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
By the time you get to the 3rd one, the dog will start getting the idea of, oh, okay, when you ask me to come in, there's a scent over here that you're interested in, that you're sharing with me. That's the whole point of it. So then it'll start getting it. Okay. A fearful dog, it may take 2 weeks of doing this once every other day before it starts doing something like that and before it starts recognizing it. That's happened before. many, many times with my clients. Every client I ever worked with, I gave this nose work protocol because it's a way to reach the dog in the way they understand the universe, which is the nose. And it's the first time that you have become relevant to them in their world to say, hey, I found this scent first, because you never do that to a dog. And so it makes you it's an amazing revelation to the dog that finally, oh, you do have a nose. So, okay. Let's continue on with that.
How often do you suggest clients to practice this exercise?
Thank you, Kel. That was great. How often? Initially, you can do it as many as 5 times a week. Although I recommend if you do it less than 2 times a week to begin with, for the first, say, 3 or 4 weeks, if you do it less than 2 times a week, it doesn't become a pattern or a habit. It's tough.
Okay.
So 2 to 3 times a week is certainly adequate to make progress.
And changing the scent spots each time?
No, the protocol is if you do it 2 or 3 times a week, use the same scent that week. The next week, you change the scent if the dog has gotten that scent for that week. In other words, it starts getting it. Okay. So what I do is typically by 3rd week, I'm using a 3rd scent. I'm also, because the dogs generally get it pretty quickly, what I start doing is I start making it more difficult. In other words, I'm not planting the scent right at the base of something. Now I'm putting it way up somewhere where the dog has to find the source. So I'm making the dog work for it harder, or around on the backside of something or whatever. I'm showing them, hey, it's on this object over here. Let's go find it now. And so that's the whole idea of find it. And so it becomes more difficult, and it becomes a scent work exercise instead of just nose work with the human. Okay. All right, let's see. Was that it? Or no, somehow this thing got January 28th. What the heck? Oh, that's weird. Oh, that's Pache.
Yeah.
How did we get off on that? Okay. There's the chickens. Don't count your chickens before they're hatched, right? Okay. Okay. Not bad. Let me go back. Okay, a little too fast on that. What I would do is I would slow down. I would emphasize more at the beginning here to get the dog attention. So right here, it was, see, it's never about reaching the dog. It's right there. So you're not even, there's nothing with the dog over here. Okay. So I would focus on the dog, that's its attention, bring it to that point. So slow this part down to get to that.
Got it.
Okay. This isn't too bad, but I got rested. Just bring it to it. Okay. Everything else, this in form is really good. Okay. And I know it's tough without a dog to imagine the dog there. So I understand that. Okay. There we go. The rooftop. Okay. So really nice form here. Hips, shoulders, head. That's perfect right there. This is the form you guys want to see right there. Okay. Just like that. Way up, the hand should be down. So you're going to bend a little bit more at the waist right here to get that hand down. make sure this hand comes forward with the leash. And here's what I would say on the beginning part. Same thing, dog's over here. So get the hand in front of the dog, make sure that you actually look at the dog, say, find it. This is what I do. Find it, hand, boom, and then rotate everything to it, okay? So got to acknowledge the dog first. This ends up being good right here, okay? So I'm gonna do a little critique of martial art aspect here. I'm going to show you what happens here. See how, oh, well, I tried to stop it there. Come back. Right here. Keeps going back on me. Whoa. So watch where you're at here. Okay. And the feet. Let me see if I can expand this. I'm sorry. Okay. So watch the foot. This back foot isn't quite turned yet. Right there. When you turn, see how the front part of your foot is lifting up? It's because you went back on your heel. Keep your weight on the ball of the foot in both cases here. That way you don't ever lose your balance. So you went from, you touched out here, ball of foot, your weight went, as you shifted forward, you pulled yourself and you went back on your heel. That's where you lose balance. Okay. So instead, then you see how you put the foot back down. Let's see if you actually shift forward any. Yeah, a little bit. You see that knee come forward a little bit just to get that back down. Okay. So don't lose your balance. Keep your weight on the balls of both feet. Okay.
Okay.
This is 53 years of martial arts talking to you.
I'll take it.
Okay. That was good. That was good. That was a nice end form. Again, you're going to have to get your hand down, make sure that both hands come together.
Okay.
Okay. Cool. Good. Good job. Okay. Okay. That was shoot. That was good acknowledgement of the dog to begin with. Let's go back. Okay. I actually looked at the dog. This was nice placement. Then again, the hands go together, rotate all of this. There you go. Now see what's happening is by facing this way, you're actually leaning toward and over that direction. So when this turns, when these both rotate and the knees go forward, the hips turn, the shoulders turn, and now you're facing this way and your body's over here, not facing over the pathway of your asking the dog. Okay. Oh, just one. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Is that it? Yep, that was it. Okay. Wow. We're caught up with videos for the first time.
I didn't do it. Can I do it for next time, or do you want me to just move on?
Did you get enough out of this?
I did. I'm actually glad I didn't do it and watched all of them. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay. So that was good. So let's see. Haven't heard from Tammy or Anthea. Anything that you've noticed, picked up, add on any of this so far today? Either one of you guys? Tammy, jump in there and I'll get all skinned up.
I would say my observation of this is because I took course 1 4 years ago, and I took it in person, and it was basically my first exposure to Nelson's teaching. One for Nelson, One, I would say that for Nelson, as you're moving the students through the different courses, and as we get to a certain level, you want those 4 courses of course 1, I would definitely encourage them to take at least 1 video class, because there's so much more detail, and you going over things, it becomes so much more clear what you're asking for us to do to help us reach our dogs, you know, and just the mechanics of moving the way that they are. Because when I looked at your videos for this video section, I was like, it wasn't until I saw your 4th one, I'm like, oh, he's starting off teaching them the body positions to do the scent work portion. I'm like, got it. So sometimes for me, it helps me understand what I'm doing if I know why I'm doing it from the beginning. Because at first I'm like, what is he doing? And then finally I was like, oh, that's the beginning of the scent work. And then for me, my brain can process it better. So sometimes when I'm not quite sure what am I doing this? Why am I doing this? It's kind of like the dogs. I'm kind of hesitant. And I'm like, what are we doing this for?
Okay.
I don't trust you. I don't know.
Yeah, I understand. Okay, good. Thanks. Appreciate it. Yeah, this is a lot more detail, especially on understanding what you are communicating to your dog just in these simple motions and movements. So, hey, Bob, how are you, buddy? You big old schnocky. Anthea, anything? Anthea's dead. Oh, there she is.
I'm not. I'm here. No, it is completely different and definitely interesting to be able to stop and go back and watch again and catch all of the teeny tiny little details. It is just a totally different perspective.
Yeah, I have enjoyed doing these onlines. Certainly a completely different pace, obviously. I mean, you know, once a week for 8 weeks, that's a lot of time commitment, frankly. But it does allow us an entirely different perspective, a different way of teaching, frankly. So I enjoy the heck out of this because I do get to point out little tiny pieces of it, and there's not much opportunity for me to be able to do that with you guys in any other class, frankly.
Well, and you can't see yourself.
Right.
You can't see how you're positioned compared to the dog. You can't see the little tiny movements the dog makes that are just outside of your periphery. It's very interesting.
Well, in the new course 4 and certainly course 5, there are going to be videos, and you guys are going to be teaching clients in those too. So
I was going to say, if you already said you didn't see how you could incorporate any of the videos, but like if you had the ability to take just a really good teaching clip of certain movements or things you're doing with the dogs from some of the online courses, and just put up just one video to show them, this is what I mean, this isn't the way we want to do it, and this is why. Just even maybe popping in one video just to help them see it in detail, that might be super clear, a lot of clarification for them.
Right. Well, yeah, I've recorded almost every one of these classes for the past over a year now.
Good.
And so I've got a lot of video, and a lot of, I can just run the video because it's recording me and my reactions too. And so people in the advanced classes can see some of these things.
Yes.
But also because course 4 is restructuring and how we do it and what the expectations are. And course 5 certainly is slightly different because we're actually going to have some clients come, and in course 4 you work with the client, you don't touch the dog. It's how you communicate to the, because it's all about human psychology and the ability to communicate and the words you choose and how you do it to affect the client, to affect their dog. In course 5, I want to see how you handle dogs.
That would be, I think that would be very helpful in course 4 to where, because that's something where I can tell you where I can struggle sometimes with a client is like, just like us trying to communicate to the dog, but we feel we can do that better. Sometimes communicating with our own species, because different people process things differently. We're at a loss sometimes in being able to help our client understand, you know, why this is necessary, why this is more clear to the dog. Because honestly, I can't use all the words you use, Nelson.
Yeah, you can. If I can speak them, you can too.
I gotta remember them in the moment.
Well, you
what
don't
would
have
Nelson
to.
do?
What would that Tammy do? That's what you got to do. You got to translate it for yourself.
When I try to translate your words sometimes into my own, it doesn't come out as good.
Well, it's the concept and it's how you reach, and that's what course 4 is all about, guys.
Yeah.
It's human psychology. It is human personality types. It's identifying your personality type and how you communicate with other personality types, your own and the other types. And then it's about words have meaning. Let's talk about what words to use and how to use them to communicate this stuff. That's the majority of the course right there.
Yeah, that's I think what I'm working on with my clients.
It's 8 days.
Yeah.
8 full days to get that.
I'm still trying to at times, okay, I don't think they're getting that. How can I make this more clear for them? Right.
So, you know, that, and then working with clients on 3 of those days. And then we discussed each one and how to better communicate what went well, what didn't, what could have, you know, missed opportunity, or what was perfect, you know, happenstance or whatever else. So
that'll be cool.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this new format of that course, frankly, because it makes it to me about 100 times more relevant specifically to, you know, this need, frankly. So, and we will video it, and so we can review it and, you know, take it and review it on past the class if you want. So, because we can always have Zoom calls. So, okay, so I wanted to before I go back into the original presentation, which I do need to do, I wanted to see if there's any comments or questions at the moment from anything we've just reviewed over the past bit.
The only thing I want to say is I agree with, and I don't know if this is the way that we're supposed to learn this way, but what Tammy said is I always want to know the result that you're looking for so that I can go into the instructions. So I think it's an interesting way.
So do you read the last page of the book first?
Yeah. No, I think it's actually really good because it's tripping my head up in a really good way.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to comment on that because I'm kind of glad I didn't do the last video and I watched everybody else because I learned so much more not being self-involved with what I did.
Right.
I learned from listening to you talk about everybody else. And I was like, wow.
But you still have to do it. You physically have to do it too.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's where course 2 is always very interesting because it's the application of the introduction of this concept that you're taking now. So it's the actual applications of working with a raw dog that needs help that you don't know, happens to be a husky, Siberian husky. So it's in its own universe. It's a primal instinctual animal. And reaching that animal at its level is the whole point. And I teach you how to do that. There's a lot of time that you have to process that you're floundering around because you've never done that before. And that what I call floundering is a necessary part of processing time and learning. And a lot of people, I won't say a lot, some of the people who've come through the course never get past that themselves. And so they don't get it. And I would say it's less than 20% of the people. And they tend to be trainers who are stuck in a certain way of doing things. And then they just go back to what they're normally doing and do more of that. Wasn't a waste of time for them. It may hit them 20 years later and go, oh, and that's perfect. It's okay. Some people get it now. Some people will get it later. Some people won't get it at all. And that's okay too. It's an introduction to a whole different universe, frankly, and that scares some people. They want A, B, C, this tool and this method, and that's it. They don't want to have to rely on their intellect and their feeling of what's going on and understanding another species. And that's tough. So,
Nelson,
yes.
I would say when I was watching some of the videos, the thought that came to my mind is you're basically trying to have them practice, and because you keep saying you got to practice this. So what you're doing is basically reconditioning and creating a new pattern for each of the students. That was my observation.
It is.
You're repatterning.
It's all about the brain.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it's a process where you and the dog are learning together. And that's that. There is nowhere more blatantly obvious than course 2. Those first 3 days, you guys are just learning about each other, you and the dog. And after that in, slow, out, fast aspect, by day 5, that dog and you are so bonded together like you've never had even your own dogs before. Day 7, day 9, people are crying, giving the dogs back. The guys too. Seriously. And some people go, I can't live without this dog. I'm taking it with it. And they hated huskies before then. So others are going, boy, am I glad I'm getting rid of this dog. No, but it's always very interesting, that learning process of you have no other responsibility but that dog. That's it. It's you and the dog. And so it takes away, and I call it going on island time. It's like going on vacation on a Caribbean island. There isn't anything else. It takes you a few days to kind of wind down and not worry about what's on your phone and all that stuff. And you just start laying on the beach and enjoying it. And that's the way it is. After about day 4, you start going, this is island time. And all it is about me and this dog and learning. So it's an interesting process. It's designed that way. So anyway.
I do want to ask one quick question. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead,
Oh,
Marilyn.
that's okay. I was just going to add
Marilyn first.
Marilyn, you go first.
She's adding, and I have a separate question, so that's it.
Okay. Cool.
I was just going to add, going back to Marilyn's thing about not knowing what was going to happen, is I think that if we have expectation about what we're doing, like I found that in course 2 with the patterning and everything, if I had an expectation that that's what you were actually doing, I would have been trying harder to do it than having it just happen naturally. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. Yeah. It's it's experiential. It is not intellectual in a lot of ways. And that's tough for people for humans like me, that I want to know. I want to know now. I'm that way. And so, the story about the guy that one of the students that came, who was a very business successful trainer for years, decades, came to that course. And the second day, at the end of the day, he came to me, he says, I don't know if this is for me. I don't need this. I'm already successful, blah, blah, blah. And I said, this is only the second day. Remember, it takes about 3 days, 72-hour period for you guys to start learning about each other and start getting patterning. And so he agreed to stay for at least the next day. And the morning of coming on the third day, he was driving in, and he listens to a lot of these audio books. And he was listening to an audio book about a guy who years ago went to study to become to learn what it was to become a Buddhist priest. And so he was there in Japan learning from basically doing what they do, their ascetic life. And after 3 months, he went to whoever the main, the head monk was, and said, I'm just not getting this. And the monk said, just a few words. He said, let it wash over you. Instead of trying to analyze it, categorize it, everything else, just live it. And so he came to class and he told me that, and he said, I'm just going to let it wash over me. And he did. He stayed the whole 9 days. And he actually made really good progress with the dog. And that's what I would say is you got to let it wash over you. You have to absorb the lessons yourself. I can't teach this stuff. All I can do is share information. You guys are the ones absorbing it. So, okay. Enough diatribe on that. Anybody else? Okay. So thank you guys for your attention. All okay. Whew. Okay. Well, I see you guys are actually doing this chat thing. I can't look at this while I'm teaching. So I guess, and so you guys are having your own conversations back and forth.
We're connecting.
Okay, that's good. Let's see. I need to share screen again and go to this. I don't know if you remember where we were. I believe that we were at this point. We didn't go through these hands. Okay, so let's go back up here. So these are the exercises in order. I'm going to go up here and let's see. Animation. Oh, come on. It's not letting me get there. I'm going to move that over. There we go. Okay. Oh, slideshow from current slide. There we go. Okay. Okay, so the first exercise that you did was the direction static, right? So that's the first one. That's the first one that you did where you're standing there looking a direction. These are the things: no leash use, pay attention to the crispness of your intent, work together, observe how the dog joins you. that right there, observe how the dog joins you, is all the time, everything. How does the dog interpret things? How fast does that mind work? And are you actually are you connecting with that dog and understanding that in that quarter second, if you don't reinforce that behavior, you've lost it. Okay, working together as partners. Next, there we go. Next exercise was positional, no touch, no sound, no use, use body direction and movement only. So that first step, right? So we're facing where we want to do the first step, indicate with the first step only. That was the next one. After that, it was the hand only. So you can stand and face a direction. Your intent changes. The whole point of that is your intent changes if you are not focused, staring, etc., and you're actually using your hand for a directional aspect. Now it doesn't matter what direction you're facing, because the hand motion itself becomes the most important thing as a detail. Okay, so it's taking these pieces apart and making each one its own separate individual importance. But when you understand when a dog actually follows your hand instead of the direction you're facing, your intent changes. I want you to follow my hand, and that causes your behavior and your action to affect the dog. Now we put hands, direction, motion, all of that sound, all of that stuff together on that exercise. That's the one we just went through. Okay. So hand, motion, direction, and movement together. Motion for direction, general direction, hand for detail, or the precursor of directional changes. So I would like for you to just do one single video where you guys are doing that exercise again. But this time, before you turn, stop, or anything else, I want you to use the hand as the precursor for the change. In other words, if you want to stop, you put your hand in front of the dog and you do this right in front of the face, and you stop with the hand. You change direction. I'm going to do this. It's not a big sweeping thing. This is what we're about to do. Now I'm going to do it. Okay. I'd like for you to do a video of that. And then the other thing that I want you to do is the next one is a warning order, a sound. So snap the finger, hey, I don't care what sound you use. Do not use the dog's name. Okay. I don't care, it can be a cluck, whistle. Well, I'd rather not use the whistle. That's an exciter. Okay. Any type of sound that a human generates, a sound noise that a dog understands it's coming from the human. That's you. Okay. So it's not a clicker thing. It's not whatever else. It's you. The sound comes from you. So sound, hand, and tie all those together. That's how I normally work and walk with dogs. Okay. Hammy, I know you've seen it. Anthea, I know you've seen it. Stacy, I know you've seen it. That's how I work with dogs and communicate with them. Okay. If the mind is already with me, I don't have to make a sound. But if the mind isn't with me, if it's distracted or we're doing other stuff, oh gosh. Then I need the sound as a precursor to pay attention to me, basically. How you doing, buddy? You want to say hello? I know, Josh. Hello, buddy.
I generally use the words like this way if I'm changing direction as kind of my sound, I guess. Do you recommend to just use a sound, like a
Just a sound?
sound?
Yeah. Yeah, words may have I don't want, let me put it this way. There's already enough in the dog's mind. I don't want to have them focus on learning English or German or Russian or any other language, frankly, of that. So what is the importance of having yes, they can discern, 500, 550 sounds, tones, all those things, okay, from us. I would rather, here's my answer. I would rather use a vocal, we'll call it command, a sound, a word, if you will, for something that is different in importance rather than just a change of direction. Because a change of direction happens constantly.
Mm-hmm.
And so I want to put, if I want to use a verbal command, sit, stay, place, whatever, come, I want that to be so distinct from everything else that the dog pays attention to it and knows that's what I mean in that instant, rather than constantly babble monkey chatter.
Okay.
Okay. Does that help?
Yeah. Yeah. Just in terms of kind of the duration of a sound even.
Yes. Just the emphasis. Again, it's the total of everything that you do. What is important? Okay. And how do you communicate importance levels? How do you communicate a normality that happens with dogs anyway, which is movement and all of that stuff? And then how does a human say, this is really important, I want you to pay attention to this particular thing? Okay. And that's where I reserve a verbal, we'll call it command, sound, a tonal value as a human word. I reserve that for a very high level of that clicks in the brain. Oh, he means something. This is different. This is a different level of things. And that way the dog knows that category also, rather than just, it's just a constant droning of human sounds. Okay, I hope that helps.
Nelson, can I just ask a quick question? Because I don't want to screw it up, but a lot of times when my dogs are doing something I don't want them to do, I'll be like, and they know that noise.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a noise that I could use to start an exercise, or is that a different noise?
Well, you've already given it value and told the dogs that it is a negative reinforcer. So in other words, it has its meaning. For you to change the meaning would take time.
Okay.
And would probably confuse if it has two meanings.
That's why I asked. Thank you. Got it.
I hope, does that make sense?
Perfectly. Got it.
Okay. Okay. I hope it makes sense to everybody.
So because I like to understand things, so
Yes.
Can you just go through this use sound, movement, direction, and hands?
Yeah,
I want it. So you're
okay,
walking
so
with the dog. Tell me exactly.
Right. So what you guys just did as the last exercise, not the dog free thing with the scent stuff, but the one where you coupled everything together. You're just adding sound now as a warning order, a precursor to pay attention. This is about to happen. That's it.
And it comes first before everything else.
Sound comes first, and it can also come last, or it can be a reinforcer in the middle. If the dog isn't getting it or gets distracted, then it can be, hey, pay attention now. Okay. So sometimes a dog will become distracted in the center of something, regardless of how much you train or anything else. It's obviously something that has triggered the dog that is something important, is something unusual, whatever else. And because its brain is independent, it's intelligent, it does what it does, doesn't mean it's doing something against you or what you want. But if I reinforce, I don't care what that is, we're doing this together now, then I need to reinforce that. And that can be that signal of, hey, now pay attention. I don't care what else is going on. This is what we've got to go do now. Okay. And it takes all of the human ego out of it to want to communicate rather than to say, how dare you go against me, kind of crap, which I see a lot of out there. That's the majority of what I see out there, is the arrogance and the ego of the human demanding the dog do what they want immediately, how I want it, when I want it, and nothing else, instead of a natural partnership that says, hey, I don't care about that. We're still doing this. It includes the we, the dog too, not just the I demand this because I want to look good on video. Sorry. I don't mean to get off on that. Sorry. I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. Not that you're not capable of understanding. I hope I'm communicating well enough. And it's not against anybody. It's against the mindset, the human ego mindset. Okay.
Yeah, no, I didn't take it personally at all. Thank you.
Okay. Well, it certainly wasn't against you. So, okay. So I wanted to talk about, a lot of people ask about, yeah, but, you know, when especially when we go over the basic language aspects of things, you know, the distance, speed, all that stuff, the levels of social and pro-social aspects and how dogs communicate. They always ask, yeah, but, well, almost always those are either one of two other exceptions, which is, one is intimate partnerships with dogs that have lived together, know each other, their pack for years, and, you know, some dog laying their head on another dog, that's an intimacy. That is, there's nothing about, it's an aspect of possession, much like a mother grabs a pup in its mouth and takes it off. That is possession, but it's also an intimacy, and a correct one, a correct type of both behavior and relationship in that case, much like a dog laying its head on another dog when they're laying down together. That's an intimacy part. That's a separate category than normal interactions between two dogs, okay, or multiple dogs. The other one is during play, and play has to be agreed to. So two dogs introducing each other make certain signals, and there's about 20 to 21 categories of signals that they do. Oops, sorry, I'm trying to, there we go. Move that over for myself a little bit. So what happens, some of the ways that dogs signal play are, you know, straight up, head up, ears up, bounce, 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 you know, or just a stiffness, tail up. It's like, hey, these little quick jerk actions inviting play. Others are the, you know, classic down play bow, the wide, you know, butt up, head down, wide feet. There's, gosh, you know, there's just tons of things. There's the bounces. There's the you know, one will put head over the withers, just kind of like this, and back to invite play. You know, another will play the rabbit. It's like, and then run, and, you know, ask the other one to come after it. Gosh, there's just so many. There's certain types of yips and barks that they'll do to invite each other, but it couples with those same types of little, you know, quick flicks and pauses. If they're laying down, you will hear a nasal sound like like that as an invite. Okay. And so there's a number of categories of types of play invitations, and that also indicates a level, because if they're laying down doing the nasal, it doesn't mean jump all over me. It means lay down with me, and we'll just kind of play bitey face type stuff, okay? You know, or paw. There's the straight leg paw against the body. That's another one, you know, where someone's to the side and you go out and do that and touch them. So a number of play invitations. The key to it is both dogs have to agree to a suspension of normal rules and an institution of play rules. If a dog simply comes and says, pow, like this, and the other dog reacts, this dog's going, well, I just wanted to play. It's like a bully going up to a kid, punching them in the, you know, as hard as they can in the shoulder and go, well, I was just playing. There's no need to get mad. No, you're being a jerk. And so those dogs that are those social dogs being a jerk are the ones that are always trying to play because they can dominate in play and act like they're just trying to play, which in fact, they're not. They're trying to dominate. They're jerks. That's what they are. So a dog that doesn't agree to play has the right to correct this dog who's asking. And if he goes, no, don't want to, and this one starts to, wow, there's a quick reaction to that dog. This one had the right to do that. I am not going to correct this dog at all. That was perfectly correct. Unless it's, I'm going to attack you, eat you up, all that stuff, then I'm going to stop that. But this dog has to invite. There's a pause. This dog has to say, okay. This dog goes, are you sure? Yes. And that's the back and forth that can happen up to 6 or 7 times a second that humans don't ever see. It's also the type of signaling timing that dogs will give for aggression and signals. And looks like 2 dogs were just standing there, and because people aren't used to the speed of their conversation, they go, well, it just broke out into a fight. There was no reason for it. And the answer is always no. The dogs were screaming at each other in their language. You had no idea what was going on. It doesn't just break out into a fight without any communication ever. So it's an instant type of thing. It goes like this. Okay. I've learned to communicate 2, maybe 3 times a second with a dog back and forth in these pauses. And so that gives me street cred with dogs a lot. You need to practice that yourself on how fast you can communicate back and forth with the dog, these little pauses. We tend to go here and we're waiting for seconds and the dog's giving us signals and going, well, idiot, aren't you going to respond? And so that's part of that distrust and miscommunications that we have between the species, is our timing of understanding what they're signaling back to us. If we signal something, we wait too long because we're not understanding them. So the more we can get into the immediacy of trusting those signals, because that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to signal to us. Even a growl is a signal to avoid conflict. It's a communication. That's all it is. You need to see it that way. What level of growl or bark or woof or yip or whatever else, that's still, you got to understand. You don't just blunder into things. But 2 dogs introducing play to each other have to agree to it, and then they go by certain rules. If one gets over the top of something, I don't mean necessarily over the top of this dog. If this dog self-deprecates and allows, like flops on, like big dogs with a little dog, okay? Big dog isn't just going to constantly do this to the little dog. That's not play, and that's not fun for the little dog at all. That's this guy being a jerk, okay? So the big dog is going to flop on its side and belly and let the little dog come in. That's proper play. That's self-deference, and that's what happens with good dogs that may be overmatching the other dog. And sometimes they'll go back and forth if they're evenly matched too. And that's perfect play. I will cap play at a certain level, and I will not allow dogs go beyond that, inside or out. Inside, that capping level is way down here. And I'll show you some photos of indoor play. Okay. Outdoor play is okay. When it starts getting too rambunctious, I'm going to step in. Hey, they stop. They understand I stopped it. They understand that I disagreed with that level because that was their mind in that moment. I can back out, let them go back to play again. Usually 96% of the time it's at a lower level and they stay there. If they get a little too rambunctious again because one or the other is not quite getting it, I can step in again. Even more, I will say. In other words, I may come closer to them as a higher level threat to disagree and say, hey, I'm at it. Bring it down. Then they go. Usually all it takes is that second time, even for a dog that didn't quite get it, they got too rambunctious or whatever else. So they're not trying to get away with stuff. So anyway, the third dog that comes in play wasn't invited. And is usually a contributor to the deterioration of that play. That's when groups start. When there's 3 dogs, what happens? There's 2 dogs on 1 dog. That's not play. That's predator prey. And so be careful with that, and especially play groups, doggy daycare type stuff. I see horrible things all the time that even though they're not tearing a dog up, they're learning really bad things. So you have to step in, you have to cap the play level, you have to break up big groups and say, hey, you out of here. And that just you stepping in gets the dogs to understand you disagree with that level, you're not going to allow that. And so it calms them down and keeps that level. Doesn't take much, and it just takes the timing. And the timing is what I see a lot of places miss. They let it go too far, too long. They don't catch these other signals. So anyway, so play helps to determine the hierarchy in hunting and defending. That's what it's for. It's predatory action. It's practice of hunting and defending. That's what it is. It's practice. Provides intimacy and heightened level of trust. If someone's biting you and they're not, and you're allowing them and you trust them not to puncture you and tear you to pieces, you have a heightened level of trust. There's a lot more intimacy with that individual. You can gain that trust. And that's what play helps you do. Okay. Hierarchy assists in providing structure for sociality of the unit. In other words, pack order. One of the reasons I don't play with my dogs in certain ways is because I always have to win because I am the leader. Not because I say so, but because I'm trustworthy and I can handle these things. And I've proved it over and over again. But if now I'll defer to a puppy or something like that, but I will not defer necessarily as an ultimate to any of my dogs, because then I'm saying you're higher than me in pack order. Okay. And I know there's a lot of people that will argue against that. I don't care. I don't care what anybody else says about that, honestly. Seen too much over 45, almost 50 years now. So, but that's what it does. The hierarchy provides for the structure in sociality of the unit. In other words, the way they play, the difference to each other, helps the intimacy, helps that pack order, helps a weaker dog, one that's not as fast, one that's not as capable, understands they're still playing. There's no damage to each other, but they feel the power, the speed, the intent of this dog anyway. It's much like my second, third degree black belts spar with me. I'm not going to just overwhelm them. I'm going to be right here or right here, just kind of challenging them to get a little bit better. They feel that I'm here. I'm just not overwhelming them doing it, because I can pick off all of their stuff and easily get to them. Okay. So That's what it means there. The ones that are more capable, we're still playing at your level, not at my level, because you can't get there. You'd be overwhelmed. Okay. Does that help? Provides a preventive means of dispute resolution. Okay. Right? Because it reorients, it helps the intimacy, trust, and hierarchy. By doing play, we've already prevented dispute resolution here. Okay, through predetermination of levels of leadership, social order, and trust. Sometimes, very rarely, reinforcement is sometimes necessary outside of play. In other words, I'm just going to remind you, I don't care for that bump. Okay, it may just be a look. It may be a shoulder bump. It may be something, but there's sometimes outside of play, a reinforcement of all of these things is necessary in certain dogs, okay, in incidents. It's certainly attention release and unit cohesion. So that's what play helps provide. Now, if you're doing a play group, a social group, a doggy daycare, or anything else, you'd better have every bit of this in mind and what you are actually teaching those dogs by allowing their behaviors, period. Okay, I can't emphasize that enough. So here's typical, the two-leg bounce play, you know, the front and they don't run like this. It's the two legs at a time, bounce, 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 bounce type thing. That's a play behavior. Here's a series that I took these photos years ago. This is Bella, who's still alive. She's 18 years old now here. This is Mason. He was a great dog. He was here for a fairly short time. This is Charlie. Charlie was a dog killer. And so this is husky play. Let me see if I can increase that. Does that increase on your screen size right there? Okay. So this is a series of photos of Mason and Bella doing husky play on the ground inside. This is the highest level of play that I allow, which is they're just doing the nasal thing and just laying there. So, okay, let's go. Yeah, why is it not going forward now? I think I got to go back to that. That's why. So what I want you to do as you look through these photos, there's a whole series. I'm going to go through them. You guys that have seen this before, don't say anything, but the rest of you, I want you to watch and see what they never do to each other. Watch and see. And then you tell me at the end. And then Charlie comes in and messes it up. Okay, so what did they never do in that whole sequence?
Never put their mouth on each other. Right?
Well, they didn't in this case, but that's not what I was looking for. What else did they never do? You're right, but that's in this case, sometimes they can, mouth each other and stuff like that. But in this case, they didn't. So what else did they never do? Watch as
they don't get into each other's personal space.
Well, they sort of do. I mean, they're already in their personal space. Obviously, once Mason stood up, Bella was protecting her space. He was respectful, didn't go over the top of her. So that's partially yes, but look at what's going on here.
They both didn't stand up.
So Bella stayed in play mode on the ground while Mason was getting up and down. Okay. But
they never looked each other in the eyes. I mean, they
bingo.
didn't
They
stare
never
at each
challenged, they never did a predatory stare in the eyes to each other, not once. So right at the beginning here, see how they're avoiding direct eye contact. Even when Bella lays down here, watch Mason looks down, but not directly in her eyes, looks up, looks back down, checking. So he's looking over, and I can't, yeah, the arrow's not going to go over there. Glances even past her eyes over there, and then starts to get up like, are you done? And then she goes, no, I'm not done. Okay. They're both turning their head away from each other. But right here, Charlie comes in, look where their focus comes. Like, no, you're not invited. See, look at that. They're both going, nope, this is between us. And then he turns away, both of them turn away from him. And then he goes around to the other side and invades the space, and then it's over. Even Captain came over at that point. You see the big husky guy over there. So they wanted to be involved. Captain wanted it to end. Charlie always wants to be involved in action. So that was the way it goes. Okay. So here's a.
Why did you allow Charlie to interrupt if it was okay behavior?
I was taking photos.
Okay, so it was just for that.
Yeah, it was a perfect way to show what happens between dogs. Charlie kept trying to butt in. He was trying to butt in to begin with. If you look, he's right. There's Captain there too, but right.
Normally, would you have just herded him away?
Yeah, right at the beginning. Yeah, he was there, and he kept trying to get involved. Captain was over there. He went away, and then he came back. So they told Charlie, hey, get away, buddy. And he wouldn't. And then Captain came over and said, okay, that's enough. Captain actually had more influence than Charlie, even though Charlie was there. This is puppy play. I'm just going to bite your leg to start playing. I was a 5-month-old puppy that had at the time. Two-legged bounce again. That's Molly. There's Charlie again, and I've forgotten this guy's name. I don't know if it's Houston or what, but anyway, again, same thing. So Charlie, even the dog killer, knew not to look directly in the eyes of the dog he's opposing. That's play. If they're looking at each other's eyes, if they're staring at each other over a toy like that, I'd watch it. Within the next 2 days, you may have an incident of some level, a fight or something between two dogs that are that opposing. See, look at that. See, this guy's looking at Charlie, and Charlie goes, okay, I'm going to turn my head away. I don't want to oppose this, because they were in play. They were not opposing each other. How can I say it? Competitively. Play is not about competition. It's about cooperation. Okay. Sticking your head under leaves, that's Bella again. So appropriate levels of response, just enough and no more. I say that all the time, and I mean that. The problem is humans are they don't know how to communicate with dogs very well. And so to them, just enough is yelling at the dog rather than just going, pause, wait for the reaction. The reaction is fine. That's what I wanted. I wanted you to stop it. And it's over. You don't hang on to any emotion, nothing. That's what just enough and no more means. You find the lowest level that you possibly can to communicate to the dog an agreement or disagreement. That's what you're looking for. So it's not trying to go here every time. It's trying to go here every time. You find that lowest level that your dog responds to. That's polite communication. It's like you yelling at somebody every time you want their attention rather than, just speaking to them. So when is it appropriate to disagree? Anytime and every time you disagree. Now, what does disagreement mean? It can be a tacit disagreement of, I'm ignoring you, I don't want to do that. Doesn't mean you respond in an active way even. But a disagreement is a disagreement, and you must respond to that disagreement. But then what you're looking for is to agree with and praise the dog. If you find yourself in more disagreement than agreement, then you've got a broken relationship and you need to find out why. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to say yes 100 times more than you are no. And that yes programs the brain to seek more yes. That's what it goes to. And so it's going to search for ways to get better at finding yes and agreement and happiness with you. That's the point. You want to be able to lessen your need to and levels of corrective disagreement response. In other words, you're looking for if the first time you have to get this dog's attention is up here before it responds, this is the direction I want to go with that, not the other way around. And this is what humans do a lot of because of emotion and ego. How dare you do it again? So you go to a higher level instead of, I'm going to try it here to get your attention here. Got your attention, disagreed, that's fine. Now I'm going to go down here next time. And then the dog sees that it's not affecting you one way or another. When a dog sees it affects you, it wins the argument, frankly. It doesn't matter if you physically win, it's the mental aspect. So you're constantly trying to get to this low level to respond to anything instead of the typical human ego. How dare you do this? I'm getting angry at you. I'm frustrated, all this other stuff. This is where people go, and this is where you lose your dog, period. Okay. After getting the attention of the offender, you must provide a direction of communicative clarity. It's your job. So in other words, you get the attention. If the dog doesn't know what to do, to stop, to go over here, to do whatever, you provide the direction. Hey, I want you to go over here. Dog does it. Good boy. That's what you're looking for. Okay. So you have to, it's the onus is on you to become clear to the dog. Not by yelling louder, not by becoming more of an idiot human primate, but to actually communicate to that species. Okay. And that's what I'm trying to help teach you guys is how to communicate with dogs. Agreement, signals, food, praise, affection. Okay. But a simple cut, a connection, a yes, good boy, any of those things, a smile, just looking at the dog and smiling is an agreement and a signal. And those are the things you should do most often. I don't use food to agree with a dog ever, because then it becomes the food the dog's working for, not the connection with me. Has nothing that the dog has the relationship with the food or toy or whatever else, not you. That's the whole point. So the praise and the affection is at a high level of something that you accomplish together. Good boy, and that happiness for the dog. That to me is the affection. Okay.
Is it safe to say, is it safe to say that anytime a dog chooses to reconnect with you, to give affection, that you're not praising them for the action you were disagreeing with because you weren't giving them you weren't praising them in the moment of that, what they did, that the seconds when they reconnect, it's already new.
The mind changes. Yes,
Okay.
the mind has to change to make the connection with you. Otherwise, it wouldn't make the connection.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay. Very good question. So I use praise, and the affection may be scritching under the, like I'm doing with Bosch right at the moment, where I'm scratching under his muzzle. That's praise and affection at the same time. I agree with that. It's okay, buddy. And he checked in, and now we're back to this. So those momentary check-ins, dogs are doing that to see, are we still connected? Are we okay? Is this okay? Don't always have to respond to it, but you should at least acknowledge that the dog's checking in with you. Okay. It becomes a habit on your part that is effortless. That's what I'm trying to say.
So if you're sitting on the couch, I'm sorry, if you're sitting on the couch and the dog comes over, I thought that was something you shouldn't acknowledge. Is it okay to acknowledge the check-in at that point?
Yeah, it's okay to acknowledge them. It's when they bust into your personal space, push in over the top of you and demand to be petted. That's not okay. And I would disagree with that. Absolutely.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah. Thanks for the question. Somebody else? Okay.
I guess I have a quick question. So one of my dogs can be very pushy, and obviously like that's something I have to communicate with everyone that comes into my household, because everyone just wants to give him that affection in that time. And I'm like, no, don't do that. But one of the things that I have kind of a challenge with him is that I kind of call him a broken volume dog, because he really understands, like, if I disagree with it, like he will walk away instantly, but he hasn't. And all this time that I've had him, he hasn't figured out like how to tone it down. It's either I want to be pushy or none of it at all. And we still haven't figured out like how to be like, it's okay to come and ask for attention, but not like that,
Right. So with a dog like that, go to Home Depot, and those light switches. It's called a rheostat. You need to install a rheostat on it to volume control.
Yeah.
Now it takes more for a dog like that sees this in communication with a human, either this or that. It hasn't learned the in between. So that dog doesn't understand humans to the level that other dogs do to see these nuances between.
Yeah.
So it takes more time, more effort, frankly, more time and effort, which may be a way of manipulating humans too, to pay attention to them more. I've seen this with maybe 10% of those types of dogs where they're actually going, it's either all or nothing. And so the human starts paying attention to them more, to give them more attention to do this. That's the same thing as a manipulation of, if you food treat a dog, they're not going to do anything for you unless you have that food treat. So it may be that he's deliberately going, okay, it's either this or this, and you have to, it's a way of gaining attention and frankly control of the situation rather than seeing all these things in between. That's something that you have to test with that particular dog by working. Once again, you always meet the problem head on. So you create an exercise that creates something in the middle, a response, an action, a behavior. So action, response. What behavior does this get? And so you create something that isn't all off or on, somewhere in the middle, to see, how do I reach this dog? Okay, and that's a lot of what we're doing with these exercises of language and stuff, is working with that dog somewhere in the middle so that it learns to pay attention to us.
Yeah. What I've been trying to do with him is like using light touch to kind of disagree with the intensity, wait for him to calm down a bit, and then once he calms down, to give him that affection.
Or direction, not necessarily affection. Then it's okay, now we can work together.
Yeah.
So a lot of times, if you remember, it's like course two. Okay, focus. All right, now jump up on this log. Now you get attention and affection. Once you agree to pay attention, you jump up on this. Good boy, pat, pat, now off. Good boy, let's go on. So the activity of doing things together is the reward. And that teaches the brain, okay, I've got to pay attention at a different level too. That's the human winning, not the dog winning, for manipulation of attention. Am I explaining that well enough?
Yeah.
Okay.
He's gotten a bit better, especially when I got my second dog, and she has much more intuitive and much better about it, and he's been kind of watching her, and it's kind of like, why is she getting attention?
Yes.
But yeah.
Okay. Good question. Love these questions, guys. Okay, so tacit agreement is no attention, no response, and being with. You don't always have to have a physical active agreement. Just being with a dog, and I mean being present. I don't mean sitting there watching the TV and the dog's laying beside you. You're not with the dog at that moment. Okay. Being present with the dog in the moment. It's like, it's like the two dog, the photo of Bob and Fred, just sitting there looking at the squirrels together, and they're just sitting side by side. They're just being with each other. There's no expectations, no nothing. That's the tacit agreement level. Okay. And practice that with your dog, just being with your dog. It's a centering, calming thing for you, but it's nature. It's what they do naturally, guys. Okay. So we are, 20 minutes over. We got to where I wanted to. Okay. So video, sound. Okay. Yeah, we're going to do this again. So we're going to have the warning order, a sound. Now the hand motion. Let's make sure that our hand motion is the actual direction we want the dog to go, and you reinforce that. If you want to circle around, that's fine, and then you continue to turn. But we're trying to communicate to the dog that not just that we're moving, but this is the actual direction, this is the behavior that we're doing in this moment, okay? So be clearer with that. So sound first, then put all those together. So we have the warning order, sound, and then instantly after that, the hand sweep motion and our action and behavior moving, okay? Go further sometimes, go shorter. Pause, ask to stop, so the hand can come in front of the face and stop the dog. So now we are communicating both go and direction. Now we're doing stop. We can do sit. We can do all sorts of things with that hand and behavior, okay? So experiment around a little bit and see what you can get with that. Again, the sound is not monkey chattering while you're doing things. It's just that warning order of, hey, pay attention. Now here's what comes, okay? So we'll do that, and then I am going to post several videos and I'm going to give you guys my nose work protocol. I'm going to post it to you, and it's like 7-8 pages, and I'm going to give that to you. You can use it personally. If you use it professionally, ask first, please. Don't just run out there and share it with everybody. You can use it professionally with your clients. If you give it out, that's different. Okay. So, but anyway, we'll do that. We'll do the scent work, and I'll explain all of that in both video and the written. We have a number of them. Angela did some videos of doing the scent work, nose work with her dogs. So you get to see somebody besides me. And she's got good examples. She uses 3 or 4 different dogs, and so they respond differently to the nose work. One was fearful, one's just, oh boy, we're doing this, I can't wait, sort of thing. So you'll get to see several different responses on that. And then go ahead and video you with your dog working like the 3rd, 4th, or maybe 5th, 3rd, 4th, and 5th location, at least 2 locations, so we can kind of see what's going on. Do 6 locations along a walk. If I tell my clients, if you've got 20 minutes to do a walk with your dog, you establish the walk in the first 5 minutes. That's all you're doing is walking or just going. Let's go. And then first scent. And so you have 6 scents along that. Now with this exercise, with the rest of the distance, with this exercise, you don't have to do all of that. You can go walk for 30 seconds and then encounter that first one and the next one, and etc. So have it set up to where you're videoing somewhere between the 3rd to 5th and catch at least 2 places. Okay. So I'll explain all of that, and then we'll go over those next time. Okay. Any questions? Stop share here so I can see everybody's lovely face.
Are we doing this exercise with the dog?
Yes.
Or not?
Yes. This is the full nose work thing. You practice your position. We went on that, what to do, how to do it, to rotate, to stay out of the way of the dog. Don't lean over the position, sweep the hand from the dog, not up in the air, but to just above the scent mark and all that stuff. Oh, hi, Laura. I didn't see you here. So, okay. All right. Well, guys, enjoyed it. I know it's late, certainly in Russia and Switzerland, so I'll let you guys go. Appreciate you guys staying up.
I have a
yeah, Karen. Okay.
I think you're going to say yes to it, but I want to see what you say after you say yes. I want to know if I'm on track, that what we're doing with these little break apart exercises with the hand and the movement, it all maps back into energy. So if I'm on the right track, I'm thinking that pretty soon, if I stay with it, as long as I have that dog's attention with me, I don't have to do much of all those things. It's already kind of happening in the energy. Is that right?
Yes,
then
that's correct.
I figured
it is your intent. I'll describe it as your intent. In other words, what is in your mind, which is the energy you project. It's how how everything comes out of you is what's in your mind. And that is the intent. That's what I mean. Okay. Does that help? Yeah. So it's my mind to that mind. That's all it is. That's what you're trying to communicate. And that affects you physically, physiologically, mentally, spiritually. That's what it does.
Right. And that's what the heart, the gut, it all goes in that same alignment. So it's really settling into that.
Yes, because again, your heart has 20,000 neurons, brain neurons, and your gut has 2 million.
So I'm on track, right? Not that I can do it, but I'm going in the direction. Right?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, I can do it.
Just have focus.
I can do it as long as I have the dog's attention, right?
Okay, yes, yeah, I'm going to Yoda you. Yes. Not try or try not. Anyway, I don't do a very good Yoda. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Good
Thank you,
afternoon.
Nelson.
Good in the evening, whatever, wherever you on earth you are. I'm honored to have you guys as students on here, and I really appreciate you. So
Thank you.
we will see you next time. I'll be posting stuff probably tonight, because tomorrow I'm working out at the center for the next couple of days on some construction stuff. So, okay. Good evening, guys. Bye-bye.